Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Thanks so much for tuning to it. A fine libations Friday to you and yours. Loosey-goosey edition of the program as we're wont to do on Fridays. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. I may have just said that. I don't know. Online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free. Always don't miss anything. Sometimes you do miss things. It can happen. And when that happens, you go back, you get caught up, right? You go, how do I get caught up? What do I need to do? Well, if you go to iTunes, you'll find it. If you go to our website, you'll find it upon the conclusion of the program. Email the show if you want, jcs at 979espnradio.com. Find me on Twitter at jcameronshow. WTSM app for your mobile devices, and on YouTube, it's ESPN Tallahassee. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you're well. It's good that it's Friday. It's good that we have things resolved. Oh, there are always going to be questions. There are going to be things to get into, things you're curious about. You know, I thought Odell didn't have much to say today. That's fine. He's not commenting on any number of things, such as whether or not he's been asked to stay on the staff, the makeup of the staff, the future staff, what we're doing with that staff. None of that stuff got answered. That's all right. I figure he'll just go about the duty of preparing for this bowl game that very few are interested in. And then, in addition, I would say that obviously he, along with members of the staff, could be previous staff soon enough, I am happy to see are very professional, and they're clearly helping kind of smoothly transition Willie Taggart's entrance into the homes of the recruits that had already committed to Florida State. Sort of an introductory effort from the members of the staff that had been involved in the process of recruiting these young men and getting Willie in and saying, okay, now listen, you know, we've been talking to you. Here's our new head coach. And, you know, that's just professionalism, because a lot of those guys know they're not going to be a part of the new staff. But they do have an existing relationship with kids that had committed to Florida State.
But I think this is more of a unique situation for those coaches, because I think they have a better chance of being on staff now than they did before. If you think about it this way, you have a new set of eyes come into the building in Willie Taggart, and he's evaluating everything from top to bottom. You have a 10th coach now next year. So I believe $5.5 million is the total amount that Willie can spend or ask the university to spend on assistant coaches and his pool for 10 coaches. So now you have an extra coach in the mix. I mean, maybe you keep somebody around under new terms, new contractual terms. You know, I think there's professionalism, and that's the wonderful thing about it. And it looks like everybody's getting along just fine.
Yeah.
But there's also the element that we knew some of these guys were not going to be back if Jimbo had stayed.
They're trying to save their job.
I think that might be part of it too.
Yeah. Oh, sure. I mean, they're in essence trying out.
Yeah, maybe Willie sees, well, with my scheme, I don't see a problem here.
Maybe. Boy, I don't know. I think it's always interesting. Now we learned today Mario Cristobal has been named head coach at Oregon, so he clearly will not be joining Willie Taggart here in Tallahassee as the offensive line coach at the very least. He was a guy that we kind of all wanted to see, I think, get signed because of his connections to South Florida and ability to recruit South Florida, and also he's a heck of an offensive line coach. So given that most of us have not been overly pleased with the current offensive line coach, that seemed like a no-brainer, but it's not going to happen because he gets the job. But I think that does open the door now, obviously, for Florida State to not only interview other coaches for that position, but to ensure that Jim Leavitt probably comes down here to coach the defense.
Yeah, one would think, right?
One would think. I mean, I don't know that, but I would assume so.
But carry it out, right? Unless they're going to offer him a hell of a lot more money to stay at Oregon, if you had the option with reasonable amounts of dollars to compare, something similar to either coach Oregon's athletes or ours in the hopes of landing a head coaching job again, which one would you want to coach? Probably our athletes on defense, I would think.
Given your ties to the state as well, having been a former head coach here and also having grown up in Florida. So I would think that that's absolutely true.
And you work well with Willie.
Yeah, so that would be a good thing. And now we'll just have to wait and watch and hope like heck that he's able to quickly assemble that staff and make inroads in recruiting. He already is, by the way. And you see him out on the road now recruiting. You'll see the pictures that he tweets out and takes, and that's great. Amari Gaynor, who was a Florida State commit, and of course a kid that a legacy kid, if you will. He's a kid that you were a little worried about because he was starting to wonder and was thinking about taking a look at Texas amongst other schools. But Willie's first order of business was to ensure the child's linebacker is definitely good to go to come here. And the reason that's important isn't just that he's a four-star talent and a kid that you would want in this class, but because he is sort of a ringleader of there's always a guy that signs that ends up being a cheerleader for the rest of the class and attempting to get other people in here, and that's exactly what he's doing. I mean, there's the thought that Willie going and going to visit the Gaynor family may have opened doors for Justin Fields.
Well, that would be just tremendous news. I think that would be a wonderful development that everybody can get behind.
Well, I know he reached out to Justin Fields at a time where he was with the Gaynors, so that's huge.
But, this is just a part of this bizarre, couple of weeks that's going to extend on in through the end of the month. You have an early signing period from December 20th to 22nd, and we're so used to and conditioned to coaches not being able to comment on players until, February. But the kids that sign, presumably, Willie Taggart can comment on December 20th, 21st,
right.
22nd when the LOI is in-house. I wonder how the university is going to approach that when it comes to Willie addressing the media. I wonder how coaches can leverage that as they recruit down the stretch for another 6 weeks. I mean, think about it. If you have a bell cow of a class, say, I'm coming to you right now, not just if they're an early enrollee, but let's say that they're going to come in the summer, but they decide to sign because they don't want to get phone calls anymore.
They don't want to deal with that nonsense, right?
Well, that's a brand new pitch you can take to a living room and say, well, look who's already on
We
board.
already have these guys, yeah. Well, listen, recruits, especially those that have already committed to a university and would like to see others do the same, are always going to spin it positive. They're always going to tell you that in this case, the latest hire is the best hire and the right way to go. But on that front, Gaynor did say about these other important names. He's been talking with Isaiah Bolden, the defensive back, Warren Thompson, the wide receiver, Brennan Radley-Hiles, the defensive back, Justin Fields, all-world, everything quarterback who's verbal to Georgia, Joshua Moore, wide receiver, Jacob Copeland, wide receiver. He's talked to all of them, and his quote was, they love the move of Taggart coming to Florida State. Everyone loved him at Oregon, and he made their class a top class. I don't believe that's ever happened over there before. So now that he's in Florida, a lot of guys are really interested in having FSU as one of their top choices. There's a lot of excitement about Willie Taggart, quote unquote. He's going to find excitement. He's going to be inclined to notice any little sign of excitement, of course, given that he is already committed to being at Florida State and has already received a visit from Willie Taggart. But I don't think he's making it up. I know that he was present when Willie Taggart talked to Justin Fields. I know that happened. I know that conversation went well. Doesn't mean Justin Fields is coming, but it went well.
Yeah, it was an exchange of sorts, right?
Yeah. So what I'm telling you is that door is at least open. It doesn't mean he walks through it. It means that he's going to listen. Justin Fields, that is. He's going to take a listen.
He would have to, because if I understand the rules of this, that would mean that Justin had to contact coach, because there are rules on, how many phone calls you can place per week.
Sure.
Okay.
However it gets done, Tom, I don't,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
However that happens, people call people.
Exactly right.
Who talk to other people.
Yeah.
Other people happen to be in the room when the conversation goes
Whatever
on.
it is.
It kind of things happen, man. I ain't worried about all that. I'm sure no rules were broken.
Okay.
But what I will tell you is that if somehow he does that, and by that I mean convinces Justin Fields to not go to Georgia and come to Florida State, you want to talk about unreasonable optimism in year one and year two and the way that things would turn. Again, it's because of what Fields is thought to be. When you hear people talk, and I'll talk about this later, but when you hear people talk about him, they talk about him in the same way that people talk to me about Jameis. And, back then, just as I am now, not a recruit, Nick, not the guy who's all in on that stuff. All I can do is ask, the Gene Williams of the world and say, well, what's the story with this kid? But you know it. You hear these same things. We talk to the similar people, and I can't believe their eyes when they watch that kid.
And this was, I've kept tabs on him just a little bit because, again, I got family who's, Georgia Bulldog alum. And, I told my brother-in-law, dude, get used to winning,
Because apparently he's that dude.
Because Kirby's flipped
He's
this
that
thing,
dude.
and then he's that guy, and your head coach is an expert on defense. So get used to winning. I would hope to be able to amend that maybe by New Year's or February and say, get used to winning a reasonable amount. But
Until you play Florida State.
I appreciate that Fields made the right choice because we need to get used to winning again, like big-time winning. Not, hey, let's go play in a New Year's Six Bowl because somehow we have a better resume than Louisville because they lost all their games in November kind of winning. Let's do some big-time winning where we have the Atlantic go play in Charlotte and then go play in the playoff.
It's funny. Again, it's already started. I mean, we're really casual on Fridays. We'll kind of kick it all over the map and take a broader look at what's going on, around the country. And we look at a lot of different things. I get into weird stories and all that stuff. But one of the things that I always think about is, and I had forgotten because it did exist under Jimbo when he first got hired as the head coach. I remember reading that story where his first day as head coach after the Gator Bowl, you get the quote about what we're going to do in recruiting is bring in grown-ass men. And everybody jumped on that quote, and I loved it because we all knew we had to get bigger up front. We all knew we had to be better there if we stood a chance at all at winning and winning big. So you're always clamoring for something that gives you a measure of hope. And it instantly ratchets up your enthusiasm for what's next in football. And the problem is when you're the school making those changes and in need of improvement or moving forward and changing vision and all of that, it's December the 8th. There's a freaking bowl game in Shreveport and then an off season of hell. I don't like to do that to us, bring us all down on a Friday.
What if I just hit the War Daddies button a couple of times?
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
War Daddies.
One more time.
War Daddies.
I want to hear it again.
War Daddies.
See the way he says that? There's something special about that War Daddies right there.
War Daddies.
He wants War Daddies.
War Daddies.
War Daddies it is.
War Daddies.
Ha! See? One comment, one phrase, one sentence, that's it, and you're holding on to it.
War Daddies.
For dear life, please get me to the next season. Army-Navy this weekend, buddy. Army-Navy this weekend. Freaking fantastic. Every year this year, no different. My favorite rivalry game every year.
Well, the uniforms might be decidedly advantageous to the military academy known as the Army.
A little bit of snow.
A little bit of snow in this game. At least that's what the forecast is calling for now. Army wearing all whites. I wonder if they'll be allowed to do that, even with the snow.
Yeah, because, it's a person. You can still see them. They still,
yes. But still,
it's not like the Fog Bowl where you literally couldn't see people.
Got a robber in coverage, and there he is.
You throw it a touch. Oh, what in
That's
the
a pick
world?
going the other way.
What has happened here?
Camouflage.
I could not see you. Basketball on Sunday. We'll talk about it. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, only Mahindra, the makers of the toughest utility vehicles on earth, can give you the best year-end deal on earth. So let us show you how to get tax savings on your new Mahindra XTV and get cash back and savings up to $2,500 on select clearance models. Plus, get a free roof and Mahindra's 3-year warranty.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin, Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Sorry boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Need a place to watch your favorite sporting event? Hobbit American Grill, voted best wings in Tallahassee by Tally Awards 3 years in a row. They have daily lunch specials, all under $9, happy hour drink specials, and happy hour on Friday, 2 p.m. to close. Darts are coming in January to West Pensacola Street. Hobbit American Grill keeps it local with a wide variety of locally crafted beers, plus a full bar. Hobbit American Grill, 3 locations to choose from: 400 Capitol Circle Southeast, 2020 West Pensacola Street, and 5032 Capitol Circle Southwest. Visit them online at myhobbitonline.com.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. Our lifetime warranty is a game changer for buying cars in Tallahassee and Thomasville. You already know it extends the factory powertrain for unlimited time and unlimited miles. But here are the facts. Kraft Nissan's lifetime warranty is backed by Great American Insurance Company, an A-rated company that was founded in 1872 with billions in assets. The same company that underwrites GM's GMPP and Ford's Gap Insurance. Kraft Nissan's lifetime warranty comes with every new Nissan we sell and most pre-owned vehicles that are 5 years old or newer with 50,000 miles or less. While Kraft Nissan's service department will certainly exceed your expectations and keep your records, you're not required to service with us. To maintain the warranty, you perform the manufacturer's recommended maintenance and keep your records. You can do that at any licensed repair shop in the U.S. or Canada. It's that easy. What's the catch? There are no catches, hidden fees, or gimmicks. Kraft Nissan provides the product as an added value to our customers for doing business with us. So when you're ready to buy from Kraft Nissan, the home of our original and the only real lifetime warranty at no charge. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco.
Landowners, only Mahindra, the world's #1 selling tractor, can give you the #1 year-end deal. Let Mahindra show you how to get tax savings on the toughest tractors on earth. And hurry in for up to $7,400 in special Mahindra cash back and savings.
North Florida and South Georgia's authorized Mahindra dealer is TNT Super Center, US 19 South in Thomasville, and at TNTSuperCenter.com.
Offer with approved credit. See dealer for details. Program restrictions may apply.
You're listening to The Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Good. Good to hear from you, Billy Squire. Billy Squire, whose career was ruined by a video. A music video for, I think it was Lonely as the Night. Ruined his career. You don't know that story?
No. Is it something for Air?
Yeah, it's actually, Bill Simmons, I think, wrote about this one time. It's actually very interesting. You know, Billy Squire was very much emerging onto the music scene as MTV was becoming a vehicle for which you could become a star and you could sell millions of records. The Police and Sting, that happened for Dire Straits, who was a great band long before MTV ever existed, but Money for Nothing helped launch them into another stratosphere. And those kinds of things. If you had big videos to go with, and these were, works of art, right? These oftentimes were mini movies and things like that.
Buddy, I grew up in the era still when absolutely you could have MTV, VH1, The Box.
Right.
Remember The Box?
Yeah, I love The Box.
Yeah.
Yeah. I knew that was going to happen.
Man, come on
You couldn't
now.
help yourself.
No,
I knew it.
you doubled down there.
Yeah.
That was what got me.
Yeah. So anyhow, that said, Billy Squier had, several hits in MTV were airing his video, and he made a video. Listen, it's unfair because the reason he was ridiculed was for things that involve homophobia that you would most certainly claim would be homophobic now. But at that time, they were just openly discussed as a negative, meaning like if you possessed a certain, if you were effeminate in any way, that was just blanketly stated as a negative to who you were.
Gotcha.
See what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And the oddity of Billy Squier in the video is that he's dancing in a certain way. And this is actually a layered discussion because I don't know or care whether or not he's a homosexual. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I remember reading that he's not, but the way he danced, people perceived it to be that he was. And because it was machismo rock and roll, it didn't fit. And people were like, oh, well, Billy's different than I realized. Code word for.
Huh.
And
this is layered and curious.
It's very, yes. But the video, he blamed the director for not saying, you don't want to do that, Billy. That's not going to play well.
Right.
But that rather the director played it up more and said, you should do more of that.
So it wasn't a feather in his cap the way it was for, say, I don't know, Bowie playing with,
Right, where he was kind of just playing
I'm not putting them on the same musical stratosphere, don't get me wrong.
Oh, God, no, we could
But
never
what I'm
do
saying
that.
is that he wasn't able to pull it off in that way where people
couldn't pull it off.
Okay.
And even, but remember Bowie, when he was doing that, when he was experimenting with sexuality and experimenting with almost, it was almost as if he was challenging the status quo.
Correct.
And,
identity. And
well,
yes.
of course, right.
Yeah.
But he enjoyed making people uncomfortable. And it wasn't always just identity. He was out there in the next planet. I mean, he oftentimes was dressing up as a spaceman.
No,
literally.
I'm just talking about music videos and such. I'm talking not just about actions, but the way the art was.
But remember, with Bowie, that much of the videos that he made, if you look at Ashes to Ashes, for example, if you look at that, that's really pre-huge MTV. It existed and it got run on MTV. But it was before everything where with the kind of advancements in the technology allowed you to make actual little mini movies and those kinds of things. And that they weren't grainy and crappy and all that. So we'll talk after the show. Go look at the Squier story. It's interesting.
Give me more Roll the Bones. You know what was crazy? Very quickly,
Yeah.
I drove around in the mid to late 90s, and we had this television in the car, and it picked up broadcast signals. It was one of those conversion vans. And for some reason, the channel, was part of broadcast television in Tampa Bay. So you could get, WTOG 44, you could get the Fox Channel 13.
That's the second time inside of 2 months that we've somehow mentioned WTOG. That's crazy.
But somehow, some way, you could get the box. So we had a music video channel. Of all the cable channels that you would think would be on broadcast, the box would be the last one. Pretty crazy.
It was Rock Me Tonight is the video, and there was a lengthy article written about, was Billy Squier's career destroyed by the Rock Me Tonight video? You can find that article. And he had sold millions of copies of Emotions in Motion, which was a great record, for what it was. But then Rock Me Tonight, the video, is something to behold.
Laughing just thinking about how it played. So when was that, in the early 90s?
84.
Oh.
84, 85.
Zero chance.
Zero chance. Zero chance. And see, again, here's our age difference. I'm a freshman in high school in 1985. I can remember this. I can remember the conversations. I can remember I had a friend, I had a buddy, and I remember the first time he saw the video, he called me because he knew that I loved the previous Billy Squier album. And he's like, have you seen the the loaded way that the question, thank goodness we're not like that anymore.
Yes,
thank goodness
agreed.
we've come
Different
off.
times.
Yeah,
Yes.
but it was a very, very, and people who are my age or older certainly remember what that was like. To be labeled that way was death.
Can I ask you something then?
Yeah.
Since you're the music historian.
Yeah.
Not the resident one. Like, you're just all-time music historian.
Yeah.
Prince played with some ideas, too.
Yes, he did.
How was Prince received on the go?
You know, oddly, so I saw Purple Rain in the theaters, and I also remember prior to that, the first time I heard the song, well, I can't repeat the name of the song, Sexy Blank Blank, you know that song? Which predates that, and so does, and listen, you know, everybody had heard Little Red Corvette and other songs that were prior to his hit turn for Purple Rain, which does see him play with all of that. I think because he was African-American and soulful, I think a lot of people didn't know what to do with that, not in the white community anyhow. I don't think they thought anything. And he was always singing about having sex with women. Like literally writing.
Well, true.
I mean, he wasn't exactly veiled references. He was writing about.
Yeah.
That's what he was writing about.
It's like because like somebody like Mick Jagger can skate, right? You know?
Right.
Because Mick, you know, you wouldn't associate the era he comes from with the performances that he gives.
The 70s provide a really interesting run of frontmen playing with the idea of sexuality, identity. Also, by the way, that group of frontmen were all hopped up on huge amounts of cocaine. So you have a lot of things going on here, man.
We'll pivot to Bono then.
Florida State Tulane. It's going to happen. Amalie Arena. Can I just tell you, by the way, that the free throw hit by Al Thornton in our victory over Clemson at the ACC tournament game with 1.5 seconds to play is still one of my favorite moments as I was sitting courtside. It's also a moment in time where I walk off the court and get introduced to and end up becoming friends with Bomani Jones.
Oh, you remember? Okay, so here's your third mention of WTOG 44.
Here it comes. You're watching it?
I'm on spring break. I went to Iona. I went north for spring break to go see my friends that I had left from undergrad. And so I spent a week up there. It snowed. It was awesome spring break. I came back with a 102-degree fever and the flu.
And watched that game?
Oh, I got off the flight. The poor JetBlue people, you know, I was like, I tried to just stay away in quarantine. I just put a mask on. I tried to be good. I could barely stay awake, but I was on the couch back in my home in Palm Harbor on WTOG 44. I probably saw you courtside, buddy.
You probably did. You know who else? That was a very fruitful time for me. I interviewed Doris Burke, and I had an unfortunate interview with Pat Forty, who was an ass, and I also talked with
John, whatever his name
Feinstein.
is. Yeah.
That was a crazy time. My buddy Eric Eggers was with me. You know Eric. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, only Mahindra, the world's #1 selling tractor, can give you the #1 year-end deal. Let us show you how to get tax savings on the toughest tractors on earth and get up to $7,400 in discounts along with Mahindra's 7-year warranty. Plus, get an Emax 22 with mid-mower for just $134 a month.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from LoCash. Head to Franklin, Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Liquors, bring the family to watch the big game inside or on their covered patio on one of over 60 HD TVs. However you come to relax, you will have a good time and great food at Miller's Ale House on Appalachia Parkway.
Parker Brothers Roofing says don't play games with your roof. Protect your home and your family. The Parker Brothers tell you the truth. We'll fix your roof, cause it's what we do. With quality, integrity, and pride. Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
Hey, this is Travis with Parker Brothers Roofing. No one besides us wants to hear that you need a new roof. It's one of the biggest home improvements you have to make, and Parker Brothers Roofing understands. We now offer financing for 0% over 60 months. Yes, that's 5 years. Call us today for 5 years interest-free financing on that new roof. 656-8112. That's 656-8112, or go to parkerbrothersroofing.net.
Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
License number CCC 049350.
Credit products are made by WebBank. Amazon is not a sponsor of this promotion. Other restrictions apply. See website for details.
I was making great progress on building my savings, but then I get hit with an unexpected car repair bill.
Keeping a close eye on my credit score allowed me to buy my first house, but an unexpected medical emergency set me back.
When the unexpected happened, Avant was there to help. If you need to borrow $2,000 to $35,000, try Avant. It's fast, simple, and transparent.
Everything is done online. There are no prepayment fees, and no collateral is required, and you can instantly check your rate with no impact to your credit score.
Over 500,000 customers have experienced the convenience of a loan through Avant. No wonder Avant has an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. And now, Avant will give you a $50 Amazon.com gift card after your first payment is made on time. To check your rates and to get this special radio offer, go to Avant.com today and enter promo code 3838 when applying. That's AVANT.com, promo code 3838. Go to Avant.com today and enter promo code 3838.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. It's Libations Friday, brought to you by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Corner Pocket Bar and Grill on Appalachia Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Attention to this, but we were talking during the break, and I see where earlier today, Japanese star Ohtani. How do you say his name?
I think it's Ohtani.
Ohtani. I want to get it right, you know.
That's what I've been doing though, but I might have committed to pronouncing it wrong.
But I always feel so bad because you just sound like a bigoted prick when you can't say somebody's name and you don't try real hard. Like I'm attempting to get this right. Shohei Ohtani. Does that seem right to you?
I'm pulling it up, hey?
I don't know. Matthew knows these guys. You know this guy from Japan? How do you say his name? Shohei Ohtani? Shohei Ohtani, right?
Yeah, Ohtani, yeah.
Okay, I feel good about that.
Shohei Ohtani.
All right, we did pretty well. He's agreed to sign with the Los Angeles Angels. And you may ask yourself...
He's the Shohei kid.
You couldn't help yourself. What I want to do here is, and maybe you say to yourself, well, Jeff, I don't know that I really care about where Shohei Ohtani is playing baseball right now in December the 8th. But he's a Japanese superstar, and he's very, very unique. And I'll get to that in a second. He was choosing between the Cubs, the Rangers, the Dodgers, the Giants, the Padres, and the Mariners. It's interesting to me that A, the Yankees were not involved, B, that he chooses the Angels when on the table was Seattle, L.A., even Chicago or San Francisco.
Yeah, but did you hear about the preliminaries for this thing? Like how to make the final cut?
No.
Oh, dude. Okay. So it was either his representation or Ohtani himself.
He was put up for bid by the Pacific League's Nippon Ham Fighters.
Correct,
right? Yeah.
which, you have to pay the right just to negotiate with him.
$20 million posting fee.
Correct. But what his agency had put out there was you must submit a letter in writing by X time why you should be essentially graced with the presence of Ohtani at your franchise. Why are you worthy?
That didn't put any pressure on him at all.
Yeah.
I mean, my goodness. Yeah. Well, here's why, though, Tom. He's 23. So this isn't a guy that's been playing Japanese baseball for 10 years, comes over, maybe has 5 good years left like a lot of these guys do. No, he's young. He's about to be entering into, in a few years, prime seasons. And at least over there, he's a freak. And here's why I bring this up. Because this is so cool. And I feel like if I were this guy, I wouldn't be wearing pants, and there would be videos in loop of me on my wall and anywhere else I went, because this is incredible. My man is 42-15 over there as a pitcher. He's got a 2.52 ERA and a 1.08 WHIP in 5 seasons with the Nippon Ham Fighters. He also, by the way, hit 286. Here's your slash line: 286, 358, 500 with 48 home runs, 166 RBIs over 403 games. So the Angels traded minor league outfielder Jacob Pearson to the Twins for $1 million in international bonus pool money. That gave the Angels a total of $2,315,000 to spend on the Ohtani offer. And teams that were interested were limited to the amount they had available in the international bonus pool. So the Rangers had the biggest pool of money. The Mariners made a trade to also loosen up some purse strings. But anyhow, he likely would have signed a deal in excess of 9 figures if he had waited until his 25th birthday, when he could have become an unencumbered free agent. But he's consistently expressed a desire to test himself against top competition, regardless of those terms. So my question to you is this: he's an elite pitcher and a very good hitter. Are they going to let him do both? Because that we haven't really seen in the major leagues since Babe Ruth.
I would think you have to. If you look, as my throat gets a little froggy here, but if you look at his last 2 seasons, that combined is 169 games. Nice. He's hit 30 home runs, driven in 98 runs, and he bats over 325 in that span of time. So his power stroke is only increasing as he's getting older. His average is only getting better as he's getting older. This isn't somebody who can kind of hit, who can really pitch.
Right.
No, he's only getting better as a hitter, and he already hits 100 miles an hour on the radar gun.
Well, and I'll tell you something else. I've dispatched of the idea that international players, in particular players that play in, say, Japan, or play in some cases, say, South Korea, that the leap up in competition's too big, too much for them to overcome, and that they end up being marginal players here. I mean, I obviously everybody knows about how Ichiro played here, but by and large, over the years, you'd get a pitcher here and there, Tom, that you'd be like, oh well, he's a number 2, he's a number 3, he's pretty good. Whereas he was Cy Young like there. That's for hitters. I always worried. I would always think that the jump was too much. But then I watched, Jung Ho Gong in Pittsburgh come over from, what was it, Vietnam? I mean,
Korea.
Korea. I mean, he came over and instantly could hit, could play at an elite level.
Yeah, and Ohtani, again, just looking at some of these numbers are staggering. If your batting average doesn't do it for you, his ops over those last 2 seasons, again, over 160 games of action, is over 970 in that time.
Yeah, so he's hopping over 970, and he can really pitch, and he's got power. The 48 home runs, 166 RBIs. So this is interesting. I would love to see a guy like that. Guy would be a star, a major star. If you've got a guy that can pitch in the American League, and they don't, he is their DH that night. He's able to go.
Right, and then he's a position player the other nights too.
Yeah.
Well, maybe this will allow for America in an odd way to see Mike Trout more often.
Well, I hope so, because I have been deeply saddened by the fact that baseball's greatest star is seldom seen by the most important side of the country from a media standpoint. Nobody in New York gets to see Trout play. Nobody in Atlanta gets to see Trout play. Nobody in Miami gets to see Trout play. Nobody in Boston gets to see Trout play. It drives me nuts. I doubt people in Chicago are watching Trout play. All the time. We root for baseball to take another big step forward as football's popularity. It's still very popular, but it's waning a little bit. And you're wondering who's going to seize the opportunity. I root for baseball. You root for baseball. Its best player could be showcased. Never see him. Maybe you're right. Maybe it happens.
Yeah, in tandem with this guy. I mean, good Lord. We'll see what the final numbers are. I'm sure they'll be staggering.
That's really cool. How cool would it be? I always think about players of yesteryear and which guy I'd want to be in individuals. Just name the sport. It doesn't matter. Like in tennis, I always wanted to be McEnroe, right? But you go through the list of players whose attributes, skill set, unique style. If you could be a guy that legitimately makes it in the major leagues as a frontline pitcher and also a power hitter, holy, I mean, that's...
Well, get ready, Los Angeles, because I can tell you the Mets tried to sign some Japanese prospects and professionals over the years, and they were second and third rate players.
And the media circus is unbelievable.
It's the paparazzi plus New York media for the Yankees.
Yeah, it is crazy. The Mariners, and I went to Mariners games a few times. You have an entirely separate media that only covers that player, that foreign-born player. In the case of Seattle, it was Ichiro. There's like 50 deep.
Yeah.
Only covering Ichiro, and they had a separate section because the American press needs to cover the whole team, and they're talking to everybody, and it was amazing. They had to organize an entirely different way of going about press access because you had to accommodate 50 different Japanese media outlets who are covering one freaking guy.
Yes, and Ichiro was by far the biggest star. Hideki Matsui was pretty big when he came over. But this guy, at his age and what he can do, he might take the American sport by storm and the American talking points by storm. If he can do anything close to what he's doing in his first 2 or 3 seasons, Ohtani's going to be a household name. And that's freaking cool, man, because
it's really cool.
You need the more personalities you have in the sport, the better. And we need more of them.
Every time I think about Japanese pitchers, I think about George Steinbrenner calling your boy fat pussy toad.
Irabu.
Yeah, Hideki Irabu.
Hideki Irabu, yeah.
Called him a fat pussy toad.
Mm.
That's anger. Just to refer to somebody as a fat pussy toad.
Times in his life where he could have been looking in the mirror and said that.
Without question. But he was just mad. It wasn't like it wasn't a racially motivated thing. He just sucked. He got so frustrated with how much they were paying him, and he slipped. He was like, that fat pussy toad. Who says that? How do you come up with that as an insult? Fat pussy toad.
He kept interesting company, did George.
Oh, George was a mess. I used to like to make fun of him on a daily basis. At the end of, of course, we had Wispy in Oakland. And when you see that going off the rails, it was beautiful. But admittedly, before Steinbrenner got sick and he was just an a-hole.
Right.
I made fun of him on a weekly basis.
No, when Al was going downhill, it was endearing in a weird way. You're like, oh, poor Al.
It was crazy.
But when George was losing it, you're like, eh.
Oh, no, I never felt bad. He was a bad guy. He was a bad dude. Legitimately a bad guy. But before he had dementia, I took to making fun of him.
But I was the guest of the Steinbrenner family for Game 7 of the 2003 ALCS.
So
I'm forever indebted
to
yes,
him.
Absolutely.
That's right. He is George, a fat pussy toad. Yes. Thank you for the tickets. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Blountstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, only Mahindra, the makers of the toughest utility vehicles on earth, can give you the best year-end deal on earth. So let us show you how to get tax savings on your new Mahindra XTV and get cash back and savings up to $2,500 on select clearance models. Plus, get a free roof and Mahindra's 3-year warranty.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin, Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Thomasville. You already know it extends the factory powertrain for unlimited time and unlimited miles. But here are the facts. Kraft Nissan's lifetime warranty is backed by Great American Insurance Company, an A-rated company that was founded in 1872 with billions in assets. The same company that underwrites GM's GMPP and Ford's Gap Insurance. Kraft Nissan's lifetime warranty comes with every new Nissan we sell and most pre-owned vehicles that are 5 years old or newer with 50,000 miles or less. While Kraft Nissan's service department will certainly exceed your expectations and keep your records, you're not required to service with us. To maintain the warranty, you perform the manufacturer's recommended maintenance and keep your records. You can do that at any licensed repair shop in the U.S. or Canada. It's that easy. What's the catch? There are no catches, hidden fees, or gimmicks. Kraft Nissan provides the product as an added value to our customers for doing business with us. So when you're ready to buy from Kraft Nissan, the home of our original and the only real lifetime warranty at no charge. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Hey man, do you have Apple TV, Fire TV with Alexa, or any of the other kinds of thingies that people have out there?
I feel like I should say yes to advance the discussion, but I'm going to be honest and say no, I don't.
No, that's fine. Do you know anybody who does? Listen, we work, and you and I both are fortunate enough to have a great deal with Xfinity, and they do a great job for us, and they have grown and come a long way. For people who were maybe last with them a long time ago, you might say, well, why are you with Comcast? But we're both really happy with our service and what they've done with connectivity and all that stuff in terms of being able to be utilized from away from the house on your phone, all that other stuff.
It's supremely easy. Like,
it's really good. Like, seriously easy.
I learn a new trick every day, and I go, well, you got to be bleeping me.
Yeah, I can do this too?
Yeah.
No. And I'm not turning this into an advertisement for that. We do, both Tom and I have that endorsement, and we enjoy the work they've done, and they've come a long, long way. But it doesn't mean you can't also have these other things. And I'm just kind of curious because I can't believe how cheap Amazon's vehicle, the Fire TV there, how it's like $39.
Well, I know YouTube has thrown its hat in the ring too. That was the
with the national championship game.
And the World Series.
Yeah, the World Series is what I should have said.
Just a ton of advertising. It was YouTube TV this, YouTube TV that.
I can see how everybody's getting to where, if you combine all these different ways and it's all cheaper per month, then it's going to be interesting.
I hear you that's probably the way it's going to go, but until we can use coax cable and get that quality, which we don't, the infrastructure for it is terrible. If you watch, and I did not see the second half of last week's Florida State game in the stadium. I saw it on the Watch ESPN app, and it was awful. And I had it plugged into.
Annoying, isn't it?
I had it plugged into my hardline internet connection,
and it was still bad.
And it was still, it was not prepared to handle the load, and I don't think we're there yet where it's indecipherable. With on-demand content, yes, Netflix, Amazon Prime, all that stuff, yes, you'll get HD and you'll forget that you're watching it. But when it comes to live streaming channels, no, we're not even close.
I pulled a you uttered a phrase that we shall not go back. And
what did I say? You're going to tell me later?
Yeah, you know what he said.
I'm going to turn my mic off and hear what I said.
And when you
wow. That's a doozy.
And the way you said it, I was just like, whoo, oh, my goodness gracious.
Oh, man. That's, Brad Richards once said on an NHL.com feature, that's some pretty heavy-duty stuff.
Yeah.
And
Well,
wow.
Matthew, did you see me instantly start laughing? I was just like, I'm going to keep moving along here. Just let him talk. Let him get in here.
Well, once you appealed to Matthew and he said, yep, and I could hear it, I thought, uh-oh.
That was good. That was good. Hey, I got a fun story for us and an easy segue. I love this headline. This is as good a headline as you'll see today. Rick Pitino, I was publicly humiliated by Papa John's.
No.
That's the headline. I was publicly humiliated by Papa John. That's yes, from the Louisville Courier Journal. Former Louisville head coach Rick Pitino is a busy man and almost assuredly a messy gentleman. While he may find himself jobless and ostracized for the time being, his schedule is booked full thanks to 2 separate lawsuits, both filed for spectacular reasons, and now a very public spat with Louisville Board of Trustee member Papa John Schnattner. That's that guy's name? Rick Pitino could tell he was in trouble more than 3 months before he was fired. University of Louisville Board of Trustee minutes show Pitino entered its June 28th meeting at 1:12 p.m., just as the board entered executive session to discuss litigation and personal matters. When Pitino walked out 35 minutes later, the Hall of Fame coach carried the conviction he was no longer wanted. 90 days before the FBI made its first arrest in the bribery scandal that has engulfed college basketball, Pitino read the room as executioners awaiting an excuse. Pitino recalls former university athletic director Tom Jurich telling him neither board chairman David Grissom nor vice chairman Papa John Schnatter wanted him there. He remembers Schnatter participating via video conference, claiming the NCAA had charged Pitino's basketball program with 17 Level 1 violations and mocking him for being present at the meeting. I have a problem with coaches coming to trustee meetings, Pitino quoted Schnatter as saying. What's next? The women's volleyball coach is going to come in here? When Pitino agreed to replace Denny Crum at the University of Louisville in 2001, Schnatter sent a private plane to Boston to fetch him, put him at his guest house. But the relationship between the school's most prominent employee and its most prominent donor had deteriorated. Schnatter's spokesman did not immediately respond to a request for comment, citing pending litigation. Jurich declined to characterize the June 28th meeting. Pitino recalled his own immediate response to Schnatter's statements as very humiliating and that he was very hurt. I went to my staff the next day and I told him, don't even think about jaywalking around here. These people don't want me here. If there's any question, anything in you, you call compliance. I beat him to it. Pitino was ultimately undone by the alleged complicity of an assistant coach in an alleged Adidas fund bribery scheme behind the recruitment of 5-star forward Brian Bowen. Story goes on, but basically he says that around every turn, he felt like Papa John took an opportunity to humiliate him in public. I love the idea of Papa John, who's a clown, and Pitino, who also is a clown, in some sort of public feud walking around Louisville to see whose is bigger. And around every turn, Papa John saying something schneid within earshot of prominent Louisville boosters and others. And as they all giggle as Rick Pitino walks by, petrified, walking on eggshells, trying to keep his job and or look for a way to evoke 9/11.
Hey, Rick, better recruits, better basketball. I hate you, Schnatter. I hate you. You're a bum, Schnatter.
I would love it. They're appealing all those sanctions. And
we're the Yum Center. We got Pizza Hut.
Go read the article. It's fun. He said that basically, and there's some crazy stuff on here about Pitino playing golf. Says he's in the best shape of his life and a bit bored. I had a routine for 40 years. Suddenly I'm waking up by myself at 5:30 in the morning waiting for the sun to rise. That's a quote.
I can now fit in the Lamar Jackson jersey even better than I did on College Game Day.
That, by the way, that is the best. That's your lasting impression.
So this was getting at the fact that their relationship had deteriorated before this most recent foray.
Well,
yes?
right, and how now he hasn't come to his aid in any way, right. And that Papa John is, yeah.
You know, the funny thing is, and I can remember putting this out on Twitter a while back, it must have been 2 or 3 years ago. They had a special for March Madness, did Papa John's, and John Calipari was the front man. And I thought, well, what? Why in the world would John Calipari be the front man for the Louisville guy?
There you go.
That's it. There it was.
There it is.
It was bad blood.
That's awesome. Calipari jumped at that chance. Oh, really? Sure. I'll do it. And play it to the nth degree.
I would like to talk to you about my friends from Domino's.
This is going to turn into an Ashley Schaefer thing. That's going to be good. Patino's going to be doing ads when his book comes out for some other, like, CC's Pizza or something like that. Nothing against you, CC's.
I know something about value. That's what I know.
Hour number 2, forthcoming. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, only Mahindra, the world's #1 selling tractor, can give you the #1 year-end deal. Let us show you how to get tax savings on the toughest tractors on earth and get up to $7,400 in discounts along with Mahindra's 7-year warranty. Plus, get an Emax 22 with mid-mower for just $134 a month.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Your favorite team is, take it to 2033 North Monroe Street and watch them at Tallahassee's favorite football hangout, the Fourth Quarter Bar and Grill.
Credit products are made by WebBank. Amazon is not a sponsor of this promotion. Other restrictions apply. See website for details.
I was making great progress on building my savings, but then I get hit with an unexpected car repair bill.
Keeping a close eye on my credit score allowed me to buy my first house, but an unexpected medical emergency set me back.
When the unexpected happened, Avant was there to help. If you need to borrow $2,000 to $35,000, try Avant. It's fast, simple, and transparent.
Everything is done online. There are no prepayment fees, and no collateral is required. And you can instantly check your rate with no impact to your credit score.
Over 500,000 customers have experienced the convenience of a loan through Avant. No wonder Avant has an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. And now, Avant will give you a $50 Amazon.com gift card after your first payment is made on time. To check your rates and to get this special radio offer, go to Avant.com today and enter promo code 3838 when applying. That's AVANT.com, promo code 3838. Go to Avant.com today and enter promo code 3838.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Kevin Winter. Just how bad was the Monday Night Football game between the Steelers and the Bengals this past week? Obviously, what is going on with Ryan Shazier, that takes center stage. He is still in the hospital after having spinal surgery yesterday, stabilization surgery. But for the Cincinnati Bengals, as they go forward, they've already ruled out 6 players for Sunday's game, 5 starters on the defensive side. Linebacker Vontaze Burfict, cornerback Dre Kirkpatrick, they're all out with concussion. Running back Joe Mixon, a starter on offense, he is going to miss the game. He too has a concussion. Also, linebacker Nick Vigil and safety Sean Williams, they had injuries prior to Monday night's game. They, too, have been ruled out this week. The Cleveland Browns yesterday fired Sashi Brown as their executive vice president of football operations. And on that very same day, they went out and signed former Chiefs general manager John Dorsey to that same position. News was first reported by the NFL Network, confirmed by Adam Schefter. And Oregon has a new football coach. The Ducks promote offensive coordinator Mario Cristobal.
Take a night off from cooking during the holidays and get a $20 fill-up from KFC. A family meal your family will love. Then you'll say, thanks for the $20 fill-up, Colonel Sanders. And your family will be like, Colonel Sanders isn't here. Those know-it-alls. KFC. It's finger-licking good.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. It's Libations Friday. Brought to you by Quarter Pocket Bar and Grill. Quarter Pocket Bar and Grill on Appalachia Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Number 2, Jeff Cameron Show on this gloriously cold and rainy Libations Friday. Can we get some of that snow? Did you see the snow in Georgia? Come on, man. My kids have been begging me, and I've been lazy. I haven't taken them to see snow yet.
Save Papa Cameron a couple of bones, will you?
Yeah, man. Come on down, snow. Make it happen. Loosey-goosey edition of the Jeff Cameron Show. By the way, we're online at ESPNTallahassee.com. Where you go to listen live via the streaming free. Always, you can email the show if you like. It's JCS at 979ESPNradio.com. Find me on Twitter at JCameronShow, WTSM app for mobile devices. And on YouTube, it's ESPN Tallahassee. You can watch us there. Thanks for tuning in. Normally, this would be Lee Sterling. We would have a chance to talk to him, Paramount Sports, get into the wagers. That ain't happening this weekend. No, really, I mean, I'm a little hurt. I like the creature comfort. I like knowing that there is big-time college football going to be on whether we're playing it or not in a given weekend, you know? I can always fall back on that. Is this the weekend? I didn't even check. This isn't the weekend, is it, where the NFL starts taking over Saturdays? They got to let's go.
Yeah, I don't think they're doing it tomorrow.
No, I don't think they are either, man. They're not doing that at all.
Army-Navy is the great centerpiece for the day.
And that's right. You don't want them to bastardize anything to do with Army-Navy. Love Army-Navy. Grew up watching Army-Navy. Still a game I desperately want to go to. I forgot to tell you, Army's new coach, after the one a year ago, had invited me and Trey to go. The new guy took over. The other guy resigned, and the new guy extended an invite as well.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and he was full bore, Tom. He was all in. He's like, you got to come. Come on down. Let us know. I got to do this.
Well, what the hell? He can send an A-10 Warthog down here, and we'll hop in. Let's go.
I think you're right. We should do it. I want to do this, buddy. I want to do this. This is the last year that I'm going to sit around saying I want to do this. We're going to do it this time next year. By the way, this year's Army-Navy game, 3 o'clock, CBS, Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia. Army on a one-game win streak, and oh, by the way, those uniforms are sweet.
Can I say that I've long been a defender of Gary Danielson, the analyst, because I think he gets a lot right and he does his homework for each of these games, and he cares greatly about being right.
Yeah.
He slipped this year. It might be the chemistry in the booth with him and Nessler, but
Nessler has also slipped.
A little bit.
Oh.
But Gary is, I don't know if he thinks that he's, in the right to haze, Nessler for being, he jabs him the whole year. I don't know what they might not like each other, or Gary feels like, well, I am CBS, so, even though he was ABC forever and a day.
By the way, Nessler is really close to saying something crazy and going to jail. Not going to jail, going to broadcaster jail. He's going to pull a Ron Franklin.
You think he's Ron Franklin?
Yes, I think he is. Now, if I don't know that, we have a cohort that we both work with. Yeah. We can find that out.
He strikes me as like to have a good time.
Oh, I know that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he doesn't strike me as we send it down to Allie LaForce and, then you cringe at what he's going to say next.
Hey, sweet cakes.
Right,
We got this up here. You worry about telling us about the cleats.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. I think
That
Brad's
would be disappointing.
I'm pretty good at this usually.
You are.
I'm telling you, I think Brad's on the cusp.
Man, don't tell me that the voice of NCAA football when it was around is like that.
I think Brad. Well, I mean, I don't know about that in terms of being a little over the top, chauvinistic. I'm not saying he's necessarily that, although I would assume as much given the era he grew up in. But
well, damn it, man.
But I'm just telling you, he has a couple of times this year when I was listening, I thought, man, he's irritated. Hey, he's getting to that age where he's just angry. You know how old people get to that place?
I don't think he gets along with Gary because Gary will always take digs at him. He's like, well, what'd you say that for? And I'm like, you know what? Gary got like 4 things wrong in the last 3 minutes, Brad.
Yeah, Brad,
you should mention any one of them.
Mention it, yeah. Well, and there's an understanding. You're a broadcaster, I'm a broadcaster, and we fulfill roles. And, you know, I'm a host, you're a producer. And these guys are play-by-play announcers, guys are color announcers. They have roles to play. And you work with each other. It's understood how things work. And also, by the way, if that's ever breached, if somebody oversteps the line, usually there's a look, there's a feel you can give that the other can get, or there's just a conversation to be had amongst men. Afterwards, you say, listen, do me a favor. You know, and it's understood. It's how it works, right? That's how teams become better and get to where they work seamlessly together, is they have those conversations, respectful at that. And I don't understand in those moments when a guy will point out somebody's mistake on the air, especially if it didn't really affect the analysis and or the flow of a broadcast.
No.
We all misspeak. When you speak for a living, you're going to misstep.
If he gets a name wrong or something,
Right.
then Gary brings it back up. I'm like, well, you could have done that with Vern, but clearly you don't like this guy. I was first alerted to it in the early part of this season when, because of the hurricane,
right,
they had to stay in the same house.
Don't you love? I'm interrupting you, and I want to hear this thing all the way. I love the moment we don our detective caps as to other people in the industry, because we both do this, you and I do, where we are listening intently, both as a fan and as a broadcaster. So you're looking for the technical, moments where, they screwed that up, or, that was really well done, or that's a great graphic. So the timing of that graphic was perfect, or, that's good commentary, Brad, or whatever it is, right? But when they screw it up or they reveal something like, he hates his ass. We jump on that too.
Yeah, there's lies of omission and commission, right? And I think to me, one of the more important moments in broadcasting is if your cohort screws up, do you let them fail or do you pick him up in that moment?
Right.
You know what I mean? And
how do they help each other?
If you let him sink, that to me, that's just as clear of a message, if not more, because you know what's going on. And they had to stay in the same house. If it was either Nestler's or Danielson's, I forget. But because of the hurricane, they stayed together. And Gary had
just
said,
picturing those two.
Well, they show the two of them in the kitchen working on their laptops together and whatever.
Right.
And Gary says, yeah, not a day too soon, that we could go our separate ways. and he was kind of kidding, but it was enough that I thought, let me check on this later in the year. Flash forward to last week for the SEC title game. And Brad makes a mistake. And he says, well, you thought it was this guy a couple of plays later. And I'm thinking to myself, Gary just offered analysis that he thought he saw pass interference on a play, offensive pass interference. They called a Georgia touchdown back on a pick play.
Yeah.
There was no pick. He goes, as the ball is being caught in the end zone, he said, well, that's got to be a pick there. By the way, they were pro-Auburn like crazy for the first half of this game because they had circled them as their guys. And he goes, well, that's got to be a pick there. That's crazy. There's no way that could be open. They throw the flag, offensive pass interference. Oh, yeah, you'll see here. And they run the replay. There is nothing. There is
right.
It was the play was executed perfectly. And so now, after he botches that call, not 3 broadcasting minutes later does Brad make a mistake, and Gary jumps down his throat.
There to point it out.
If I was Brad, I'd say, yeah, like that offensive pass interference. Genius. Oh, it's just, they don't like each other, man. I'm telling you.
I like it. So we're going to get my wish, which is like a little argument or something along those lines.
Well, you get the two of them and then the president in the booth. That'll be just a grand old time.
Hey, I want you to know I've got a hold of the entire list. Maybe for Monday.
Maybe. Budget meetings, man. I mean, I'll definitely.
You can't not be here for that. You're right.
I mean, I'll definitely be here Wednesday on a bowling tournament day.
As an aside, what do you think they give them at the Bahamas Bowl? You're already in the Bahamas. By the way, that's UAB in Ohio.
Probably some sort of.
Well, you can always start with the gift suite.
Yeah.
Whatever that,
A button-down shirt? I mean, I know that it's not the Aloha Bowl, but do they give them some sort of like beach swag?
I-slide sandals.
Okay.
Drawstring backpack.
Maybe a towel or something.
Beach towel.
Yep.
And a pin. Get the hell up out of here with that nonsense.
But there's a gift suite?
There is a gift suite.
Man, I'd hit a button for that one, but you know, Jimbo had a lot of the clips for the nothing outstanding, not enough.
Nothing outstanding. We could still use some of those. We'll have to get our own Willie commentary.
I got to find like a Willie Taggart angry press conference from maybe Oregon or USF or something.
Oh, go to his first year at USF. I'm sure there were numerous.
Well, yeah. Well, even the year, like the penultimate year at USF for him, I mean, he was on the brink of being fired before he changed his offense.
Totally changed it.
Like they thought he was going to lose his job midseason, and then he changed the offense and put him in a position where they are now.
And they took off, and then they took off again the next year, and yeah, absolutely. But I mean, that's difficult to look at. You're going to the Bahamas, and you're giving me some slippers and a bullpen. Come on now. I mean, we're not in Hawaii, where the act of being in Hawaii itself it's the Bahamas. I've been to the Bahamas. I got to tell you, it's no big deal, man.
Man, I still have yet to go.
Well,
I've been to no tropical location.
Save a little extra money and go to Hawaii. Don't be going to the Bahamas. Bahamas,
I can go for like $500 though.
There's a reason.
Well, let me find out the reason.
It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Okay.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, only Mahindra, the makers of the toughest utility vehicles on earth, can give you the best year-end deal on earth. So let us show you how to get tax savings on your new Mahindra XTV and get cash back and savings up to $2,500 on select clearance models. Plus, get a free roof and Mahindra's 3-year warranty.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
When applying. That's AVANT.com, promo code 3838. Go to Avant.com today and enter promo code 3838.
Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. Our lifetime warranty is a game changer for buying cars in Tallahassee and Thomasville. You already know it extends the factory powertrain for unlimited time and unlimited miles. But here are the facts. Kraft Nissan's lifetime warranty is backed by Great American Insurance Company, an A-rated company that was founded in 1872 with billions in assets. The same company that underwrites GM's GMPP and Ford's Gap Insurance. Kraft Nissan's lifetime warranty comes with every new Nissan we sell and most pre-owned vehicles that are 5 years old or newer with 50,000 miles or less. While Kraft Nissan's service department will certainly exceed your expectations and keep your records, you're not required to service with us. To maintain the warranty, you perform the manufacturer's recommended maintenance and keep your records. You can do that at any licensed repair shop in the U.S. or Canada. It's that easy. What's the catch? There are no catches, hidden fees, or gimmicks. Kraft Nissan provides the product as an added value to our customers for doing business with us. So when you're ready to buy from Kraft Nissan, the home of our original and the only real lifetime warranty at no charge. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco.
The City of Tallahassee Utilities says 'tis the season to save energy and money. And that's why your own utilities says it's time to focus on those Energy Star appliances like clothes washers, dishwashers, refrigerators, and freezers, even pool pumps and water heaters. Rebates range from $40 to $300. AC and heat pump rebates go as high as $750. And when you buy Energy Star appliances, you save twice. You'll save when you get the rebate from the City of Tallahassee Utilities, and you'll save again on your utility bill, because it's a fact that Energy Star appliances use less energy than their non-Energy Star counterparts. So look for the Energy Star when you shop local for appliances this holiday season. Get all the Energy Star rebate details at talgov.com. Your own utilities. Click on products and services, and all will be revealed. 'Tis the season to save. Save energy and save money with the City of Tallahassee Utilities Energy Star rebates. You'll save with the rebate, and you save on your utility bill. Happy holidays from the City of Tallahassee Utilities. Your own utilities, and America's #1 public utility.
You're locked in with the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Jeff Cameron Show, Libations Friday. Hey, let's do some more watching, less washing, shall we? I got something I want to point out, something I'm watching that makes me smile. It doesn't have anything to do with sports necessarily. Cue it up.
Jeff, what's your plan with all of this laundry?
Not my job.
Excuse me, get off the couch already.
Wash around the clock's got it. More watching, less washing.
Ooh. Best husband ever.
All right, it's time for more watching, less washing. Wash around the clock, TallahasseeLaundry.com. Just got my laundry picked up today. In fact, actually went with the towels. A bunch of kids just going rifling through towels. My boys don't seem to understand the whole thing about you can use a towel more than once. You don't have to use a towel and then get a new towel the next time you need a towel. You can use multiple towels. You can use a towel for, I don't know about you guys. I use a towel 2 or 3 times in a row. What's the over-under on towel usage at your house? You take a shower, you use the towel. You use it again, right, the next time you take a shower?
Yeah, I'd say over-under 3.5 uses. Because you have to hang it up. Now, if you don't hang it up.
Oh, you got to hang it up.
Yeah.
Oh, you always hing it up. Otherwise, it's just damp and wet and it needs
disgusting.
To go. Yeah, you can't do that. You got to hang it up right away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when it gets to like the 4th use, I go,
probably time to move on.
It's a little much here.
Yeah. But I'm saying, my kids, man, they use a towel, throw it on the damn bathroom floor, walk out. I'm like, what are we doing here? So anyhow, we amassed a lot of towels. And that's what got picked up today for me. And you talk about convenience and time saving and all that good stuff. It is true. My friends at Wash Around the Clock, go to TallahasseeLaundry.com. Go over to where you see Easy Laundry. Point, click, clean. Boom. They pick up, they deliver at your home or office. Ultimate convenience and time saving. They'll do dry cleaning and pressing too. And it's, it's a local Tallahassee company. So I would suggest you go to TallahasseeLaundry.com, sign up for their Easy Laundry service. It's great. Tom uses it. I use it. And they'll bring you back in these big old red bags that they supply for you. Your laundry neatly folded, hung up if need be, if they're dress shirts, whatever it is. And, of course, you can give them what is necessary in terms of instruction, cold, hot, whatever. It is Easy Laundry, TallahasseeLaundry.com from our friends at Wash Around the Clock. All right, what am I watching? You guys, because you guys are great. I want to parlay this into something that happened again today. Same individual as did last year. Doesn't want credit. Doesn't even really want to hear us say thank you all that profusely each time that he does it. But a guy came in today and dropped off a bunch of gift cards from Best Buy for the kids of the Guardian Ad Litem in our bowling tournament, which is going to take place on the 13th next week. I look forward to this event every year, and it's because I get to see my community step up and do what you guys do every year, which is give and then give some more for people who wouldn't otherwise have something on this Christmas. And so, we all know about the young kids, and we get those toys, and that's great too. You need to do that. People forget about the older kids, and that's where the gift cards really come into play. And so, we're going to be open, obviously, Monday and Tuesday. So if you want to come on by and drop off toys that you purchase, you don't have to go crazy. Something for a boy, something for a girl. Usually people drop off 2 toys, something like that, and or gift cards for the older kids that could use it as well. We'll take it, and even if you can't participate in the bowling tournament, if you don't have a team, it's okay. There are only so many lanes, but you can still help out, and we'll make sure we give that to the folks at the Guardian Ad Litem on the night of the bowling tournament. And they're always so thankful, and those kids are thankful, and we are in turn very, very thankful to you guys. It's the best thing that I see every year that goes on, and every time we've ever tried to rally the troops, that would be all of you guys throughout the city, and ask you to step up to give to charity. You do it. You do it. And it's awesome, and it makes me smile ear to ear.
I can tell you that this individual who came in today, again, by the time he hands you the gift cards, he's already gone out the door. He does not want credit.
It's awesome.
And I don't care what your style is. As long as the person who needs it is benefiting from it, then you can say, well, you're welcome, and it's my pleasure, and happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Or you could say, yeah, see ya, screw off.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. The kids are getting,
the kids are getting what they get, and it's just a window into people's hearts when they do that. And when you see the pile of stuff on Wednesday, I'm going to stop talking about it because every year when I see the pile of stuff,
it's the best, buddy.
It's great. So I'm going to turn my mic off.
Yeah, it gets overwhelming. Hey, by the way, the actual watching that'll take place on Sunday. All right, 1 o'clock games, Tom. I'll give you this because we're few and far between with the college games these days. We do have Army-Navy over the weekend, and no doubt I'm going to be watching Army-Navy. And I'll watch some of the other lower division games as well because at this point I'm trying to bring in football as often as I can. We're running thin. It's getting low, and I'm reminded of that. But at the early games, obviously I'll watch my Bucs against the Lions. I'm strangely curious at the 1 o'clock Raiders-Chiefs game as well, just because 2 teams that are 6-6 and I don't know. That's just an odd game, but it is a rivalry game that goes way, way back. And I don't associate too many NFL franchises as having distinct rivalries like you do in college, but that's one of them, Raiders-Chiefs. They hate the hell out of each other. It's always an entertaining game, and now they're both desperate.
Well, and it's also a battle of 2 teams with wonderful classic uniforms in the NFL.
I agree. Do you know I went through a stretch? Well, this is an aside. I agree with you. I like the red and white of the Chiefs, always have. When I was a kid, I never understood what everybody loved so much about the damn Raiders, about the silver and black. They all thought it was great, and I'm like, man, I like the Cowboys' uniforms more. I like Green Bay's uniform more. I like Chicago's uniform more. I started to go through the list of teams whose uniforms I liked more. I would go on. There were several, but as I've gotten older, the Raiders' uniforms are badass indeed.
They're unique, and yet they're not obnoxious.
Well, silver and black, and it's just you're right.
Everybody has the blue and white, the red and white. I mean, think about it. Like Alabama's, right?
Yeah.
It's like a garnetish or crimson
Oklahoma,
and white.
Alabama, all these teams,
you
South
get your
Carolina,
Penn States
and
Old School Michigan State. Like, those are the
Penn
power
State's
3
uniforms.
colors.
Yeah.
Usually it's like a blue and a red team, when you buy a set of anything. It's like the blue team and the red team, but they're the black team. And they embrace the fact that they're the black hole, the Raiders, all that stuff. It's fantastic.
By the way, having said that, the polar opposite is what I also love. Penn State's all whites are incredible. And, oh, by the way, the Saints last night, that was something. Mm-hmm. They should do that year-round. That was beautiful.
How cool is it now that they have the Walter Payton Man of the Year award?
Isn't that great?
That's awesome. That is something that the NFL should champion because you see the list of candidates every year, and then you hear the stories of what they're doing in their local communities. Man, that's something that the NBA has done right for decades, and the NFL doesn't do enough of. We're talking about place 60, and then we're talking about women's line of clothing, and then we're talking about concussions and cover-ups, and the commissioners, levying down inconsistent punishments like he's the NCAA or something. Meanwhile, the NBA, when it comes back from every commercial break, it's like, well, the NBA cares, and here's why. These are personable people who care in their community.
The NBA, going back to David Stern, has always been on the right side of that. If you think back to a dead league whose games were tape delayed, riddled with drug issues, cocaine issues in the 70s, that was the NBA, excuse me. And I'm old enough, this is where our age difference is interesting because I was old enough and interested enough in sports to remember a time in the late 70s where the NBA really didn't matter. I mean, I was aware of it. I knew who was what, but it wasn't a sport that was on your television. You just didn't see it all that often. And when you did, it always looked like you were looking at like those old pictures of arenas where smoke-filled boxing matches took place, where you see the black and white and everybody's in a suit smoking. That's the way NBA games look. Like the lighting was poor, smoke everywhere. It just seemed seedy. And they launched a campaign called I Love This Game. And they incorporated Diane Ladd and all these actors and actresses at the time. And that's where I Love This Game started. And they utilized I Love This Game. They'd cut in and they would have, Jack or somebody like that leaning in courtside saying, I love this game. And it became infectious. And then it really became a thing that you just associated with stars and people of significance being a part of and loving and willing to pronounce for all the world to know that they love this game. That was their big deal. And that was all, a PR campaign that took off, that worked, and of course it helped out a lot that Magic and Bird came along, and then later, of course, Michael Jordan, and the level of play got elevated, and the skill was understood, and all of that, and they cleaned up the sport. But that's amazing. They've always gotten it right. You're right. Nobody does PR like the NBA. They're very good at it.
There are two slogans I can remember from the 90s from sports. Like Got Milk was a big one in general. I mean, that campaign
exists, yeah.
Everybody did those magazine, one page or billboards or whatever. But I Love This Game was one. And then there was Give Blood, Play Hockey. I don't know if that ever made it to Tallahassee, but that was actually a national campaign for blood drives. And you'd get this awesome shirt, and it says Give Blood, Play Hockey.
Yeah.
Oh, buddy.
Yeah.
Everybody had that shirt in Tampa Bay.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was effective in a non-traditional market.
I was already out of the city. I was already gone, so I don't really remember that at all.
But now it's the NBA cares. And again, you're just used to seeing those moments where it shows players helping out in the community as you're coming back to break, and then you see them on the court. The NBA already has an advantage because it's more personal. There's not a mask and a helmet in the way.
You can see the players, yeah.
But the NFL, more of that with the Walter Payton badge. More of that, please. That's a good idea to showcase those who need to be showcased.
The best of the 1 o'clocks, though, while we're still talking about that, is Vikings-Panthers. In the 4 o'clock hour, what you get is interesting as well. I think Washington-San Diego is going to be a bloodbath because Washington has to win if they want to keep any dwindling hopes at all of the playoffs alive, and the Chargers are fallible. They're good. They're a team that I think makes the playoffs, probably wins that division, but they're fallible because they don't run the ball all that well or consistently. Eagles-Rams is the best of the 4 o'clock, although I'm not ignoring you, Jacksonville. I think Seattle and Jacksonville is going to be a lot of fun. Jalen Ramsey coming out this week and dismissing what Seattle is will not sit well for a proud franchise and for some guys that have won a Super Bowl and been around. That game may get testy. I have a sense, which is good, which is really good. That may get a little testy.
Well, that's what the Jaguars are about, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, even that defense, they're nasty across
that's exactly what they're
top
about.
to bottom, every segment.
And Jalen kind of represents that. I mean, he's a guy that if I'm a Jags fan, I love him because he's not afraid to poke the bear.
Yeah.
He backs it up, I might add.
Fowler and Boye and Telvin and Ramsey. And then
really good.
Calais Campbell's got, 12.5 sacks so far this year? I mean, they're just nasty.
And Ravens-Steelers is always fun. That's the 8:30 game on Sunday night just because they hate each other, and it's usually violent.
Oh, yeah, but it can't be a continuation of AFC North football because, our eyes are bleeding from.
I actually go back, if you want, that subject, by the way, and that wraps up more watching, less washing from our friends at Wash Around the Clock, Tallahassee Laundry. Easy Laundry is what you want to sign up for. They're fantastic, and they save you a lot of time, and time is money. What I'll tell you, Tom, is that in going back, and I watched the Cincinnati-Pittsburgh game, there are 2 hits that are very, very questionable, and they were flagged. The others are what we call football. I heard people say outlandish.
Not anymore. We're going to save the sport.
Yeah, just basically what I heard from people this week about how it had crossed this line. Nah. And by the way, last night, there's a late hit call against the Saints on Matt
First
Ryan.
Half. Yep.
What are we doing here, man? Well, come on. It can't be that way. It cannot be that way, or you're going to have to throw out every meaningful statistic that a quarterback ever achieved prior to the last 2 years because they're all going to be shattered. If you're literally not allowed to touch a quarterback, literally just cannot touch him. If the ball is not in his hand, you cannot touch him. without getting a 15-yard penalty, especially on a third down, you're going to call that? Okay, man. This isn't football anymore. The integrity of the sport.
Buddy, I can tell you the league that nobody watches around the country, but I love so dearly, the NHL. Everybody goes to the games.
The NHL, yeah.
They get it right all the time. You know, there's a whistle around the net, and there's scuffling going on and shoving and punching and you know, whatever. They don't call that the same way that they call, you know, the open ice play as something is developing. They understand that there are going to be little scrums.
And
so, like, if this is what you're going to call as a pass interference or as a roughing the passer call, then how about every shoving match at the end of a special teams play when teams are fired up? Why don't we just throw flags for that too while we're at it? Because that's what you've reduced a roughing the passing penalty to being. I'm not shocked by that call anymore. I see it and I go, good God, this is a continuation of a pattern here.
You know what
it's
I
not,
do?
Good God, I've never seen a call quite like that. You've seen 100 like that now.
You're correct. And you know what I do? And I think it speaks volumes about where the sport's at and why so many people are angry when they watch football games, when they watch NFL football games. So the incomplete pass occurs, and they say, hold on, there's a flag here. I at first think it's going to be holding. Then they say, oh, where that is, that may be roughing the passer. So I go, okay. As the play's developing in slow-mo, when they're showing me what was called, I am literally thinking to myself, I'm going to be pissed about this. I have a feeling I'm going to be angry about what I see. I'm going to be frustrated that nothing happened to Matt Ryan. Nothing happened. And I'm going to get angry, and here it comes. Nothing's happened. Okay, still nothing has happened to Matt Ryan. Who threw a flag? Where? Well, okay, there it is. And you're going to, let's see this again. Oh, you're calling that's roughing. That's roughing. That guy who's 310 pounds bumped into Matt Ryan, efforting to get off a block, I might add, doesn't wrap, doesn't drive, doesn't push, doesn't extend arms, doesn't hit a head, doesn't go above the shoulders, doesn't go below the knee. His thigh and forearm to the side, and it's not even, it's just sort of I'm running into somebody, I'm putting my arms up, and hit Ryan flying to the ground. And by the way, quarterbacks do that now because they know they can get that call. It leads me to lose respect for the quarterback, although you could say that's just the clock's Easy Laundry service will pick up and deliver at your home or office. So sign up for free today at easylaundry.net, or you can give them a call, 850-597-9007. Again, sign up today at easylaundry.net. Oh, and by the way, I got you. Use promo code JCS20 and save 20%. That's promo code JCS20. You're saving 20% on your first order. That's easylaundry.net from Wash Around the Clock.
Need a place to watch your favorite sporting event? Hobbit American Grill, voted best wings in Tallahassee by Tally Awards 3 years in a row. They have daily lunch specials, all under $9, happy hour drink specials, and happy hour on Friday, 2 p.m. to close. Darts are coming in January to West Pensacola Street. Hobbit American Grill keeps it local with a wide variety of locally crafted beers, plus a full bar. Hobbit American Grill, 3 locations to choose from: 400 Capitol Circle Southeast, 2020 West Pensacola Street, and 5032 Capitol Circle Southwest. Visit them online at myhobbitonline.com.
Football is here, Tallahassee, and if you're not watching the games at Tallahassee's favorite hangout, the Fourth Quarter Bar and Grill on North Monroe Street, you're missing out. With over 28 TVs, you'll never miss a second of the action. Kick your week off with Monday Night Football, where you'll get 2-for-1 wells, calls, and drafts all night long. Then there's Tuesday Night Trivia with Professor Jimmy. Go win yourself some money. What about lunch? Weekdays, pick from over 20 menu items for just $7.50, including a drink. What you doing for Thursday Night Football? How about the Fourth Quarter, where you'll get 225 domestic drafts, 275 domestic bottles, and $4 Jaeger bombs. No weekend would be complete without Bubbles and Brunch. From 7 a.m. to 2 p.m., get all the mimosas and Bloody Marys you can drink, and a breakfast for $18.99. Can you say Uber? Knowles, Bucks, Jags, or Finns, no matter who your favorite team is, take it to 2033 North Monroe Street and watch them at Tallahassee's favorite football hangout, the Fourth Quarter Bar and Grill.
Landowners, only Mahindra, the makers of the toughest utility vehicles on Earth, can give you the best year-end deal on Earth. Let Mahindra show you how to get tax savings on your new Mahindra XTV and get cash back and savings up to $2,500 on select clearance models.
North Florida and South Georgia's authorized Mahindra dealer is TNT Super Center, US 19 South in Thomasville, and at TNTSupercenter.com.
Offer with approved credit. See dealer for details. Program restrictions may apply.
At Whole Foods Market, we believe in real food.
Food that's full of nutrients, naturally vivid and colorful, fresh and delicious. Food that connects you to your body, to the seasons, and to the natural world. We believe food should nourish you and help you think. It should help you feel calm, clear-headed, and strong. It should help you do more, sleep better, and wake up happier. That's food that lives up to its name. We believe in real food. Whole Foods Market.
Don't just listen to The Jeff Cameron Show. Watch it live. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Live weekdays 3 to 6 p.m. Head to ESPNTallahassee.com today to watch live or catch up on demand. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Brought to you by Nice Tire and Auto, your trusted Goodyear dealer. 574-4100. And presented by TNT Supercenter in Thomasville, Georgia. And Franklin Spring Creek Ford.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Kevin Winter. Just how bad was the Monday Night Football game between the Steelers and the Bengals this past week? Obviously, what is going on with Ryan Shazier, that takes center stage. He is still in the hospital after having spinal surgery yesterday, stabilization surgery. But for the Cincinnati Bengals, as they go forward, they've already ruled out 6 players for Sunday's game, 5 starters on the defensive side. Linebacker Vontaze Burfict, cornerback Dre Kirkpatrick, they're all out with concussions. Running back Joe Mixon, a starter on offense, he is going to miss the game. He too has a concussion. Also, linebacker Nick Vigil and safety Sean Williams, they had injuries prior to Monday night's game. They too have been ruled out this week. The Cleveland Browns yesterday fired Sashi Brown as their executive vice president of football operations. And on that very same day, they went out and signed former Chiefs general manager John Dorsey to that same position. News was first reported by the NFL Network, confirmed by Adam Schefter. And Oregon has a new football coach. The Ducks promote offensive coordinator Mario Cristobal.
Take a night off from cooking during the holidays and get a $20 fill-up from KFC. A family meal your family will love. Then you'll say, thanks for the $20 fill-up, Colonel Sanders. And your family will be like, Colonel Sanders isn't here. Those know-it-alls. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. It's Libations Friday. Brought to you by Quarter Pocket Bar and Grill. Quarter Pocket Bar and Grill on Appalachian Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio, and a fine Libations Friday to you and yours. I got so many emails we've got to catch up on. You guys have had insight and observation and weighed in thoughts on all that we've seen transpire over the course of this week. It's been an interesting week, has it not? This one made me smile. I thought of... We've all thought of this. There's no getting around this. It is an aspect. Now, how heavily you weigh it is up to you, and obviously, everybody with different experiences. But Tom writes, my son and I were sitting up in the top row of the TLC when Coach came out, and an old black man next to me stood up, was cheering as loud as he could. I glanced over and saw he had a tear in his eye. And I know what it meant to him, to have our head coach be an African-American hired based on his merit and without prejudice. Must be an amazing moment for someone who has struggled with prejudice throughout his life, which I'm sure he has. I literally almost teared up myself. Nothing would make me happier than for my university to be the one that finally breaks the color barrier and wins a national championship with an African-American as a head coach. It may not happen, but it is a huge step in the right direction for our community and for this country. I grew up in this town, Jeff, and I can attest that a hire like this would not have been welcomed when I was a little kid. Thank God those people are dying off with each passing day. Great show. Chew freaking chew. I'm not even that big a basketball fan, but my son and I haven't missed a game yet this year. They're fun. Hell, the tickets are for sale pretty cheap. Why not go to this game and support this team? Tom. Good email, Tom. And one that I think a lot of people, an opinion a lot of people share. Obviously it's a moment to be proud of if you're a Florida State fan or alum or supporter of any kind, would be something to behold. I thought that was an interesting answer, I might add, from Willie Taggart when he was asked about that question. And he was right to understand the moment, the magnitude of it, by pointing out that Odell Higgins filled that role. And that's great self-awareness. It's also an understanding of the impact and the significance of Odell's one-game, two-game coaching run here. I think that any man of color who is put in a position that so few African Americans have been put in before, in this case, none prior to the Odell Higgins move, is well aware of the impact that has amongst African Americans and others, and is well aware of what could be achieved, and could only imagine that it helps pave the way for so many more. It's not lost on Willie, but he also understands that I think you're addressing a much larger fan base than just those of color, obviously. And his answer was carefully considered, and I thought balanced and nuanced at a time where it needed to be on the spot. Really quick thinking and well done.
To me, weighing in on a matter such as this, you can try too hard to say the right thing, and you end up saying the wrong thing. All I will offer up with this storyline is I'm proud that most Noles my age, that's not even a consideration. You know, my buddy from Tampa, who I went to college with, was up here on Tuesday night. Yeah, it was Tuesday night. And he said, you know, the funny thing is I'm reading a ton of stories about the Taggart hire, and really there aren't all that many, if any, talking about the significance of an African-American head coach in the Southeast, you know, at an institution like Florida State. And he said, I guess that's a good sign. I said, well, here's the deal, man. He was the best candidate for the job, too. It really helps when the guy that you should hire is the guy you get, no matter what he looks like, where he's come from. But make no mistake, with all of that being said, man, I'm proud our university doesn't go into, I don't know, another generation or two without having an African-American head coach at the same time, because I understand how important these things are for the NFL, college football, Major League Baseball, you name it. Every sport needs to be as represented by the best, no matter where they come from, as they can be. And for too long, all of these sports, and again, I'm not trying to have this be a soapbox moment, but for too long, there were barriers where there need not be, because merit should dictate who gets hired.
You know, it's interesting, and you're right on, Tom. I'll say this, too, that I find interesting. You know, we have had several emails from people who are saying, well, you know, it's Florida State. How are we hiring a coach with a 47-50 record? Well, that's refusing to go beyond the surface and look at the reasons. You know, what you're looking at, when you look at a record, it's a record. It's not necessarily representative of a coach's quality or not. Ultimately, you are judged on wins and losses. But how you arrive there depends an awful lot on who you're coaching and where you coached and how you got there. Well, when you take over a Western Kentucky program that had lost 20 straight games, more than 20 straight games, obviously the talent pool is not up to snuff, to say the least, even at Western Kentucky and the opponents that they were facing. You can't lose 20 straight games if you have good players. So they didn't have good players. So he gets there and he immediately impacts that program, his alma mater, by going out and recruiting a better level of athlete, a better player, and then putting them in positions to succeed almost immediately. So much so that his first year, they win a couple games, they get off the snide, they don't lose, they end the losing streak. By year two, he's already 7-5. So in all of 1 year of recruiting, he is able to get a team that had lost 20 straight games to win 7. Then get them bowl eligible while transitioning from FCS to FBS, which is in and of itself something that requires great leadership and guidance. So you're seeing a skill set you need as a head coach, as well as results on the field with inferior talent, which means you're out coaching people and you're building a program. So at best, what you were going to do there after your first season, inheriting a nightmare roster and losing 10 games, you're not going to leave there over 500 when you lose 10 games in your first year. You can't. But what you can do is show how quickly you can win games and put kids in a position to win games, and how quickly you can recruit a higher level of talent, which he did. So He leaves Western Kentucky with a sub-500 record total. And yet anybody who delves beyond the wins and losses sees how miraculous it is that they became a winning program to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, let's just say, Jimbo Fisher, right? When he was hired, he had a 0-0 record. So let's just point that out. He had no experience as a head coach.
He had never coached, yes.
He was at HCIW here, but trust me, it wasn't lost on me that in the latter part of his time as HCIW, it looked like everybody on the staff had associate head coach or assistant head coach in their title, except for Jimbo Fisher, who was the head coach in waiting.
Right.
So he wasn't high on the pecking order of making, program-changing decisions until he was finally the coach. So let's just say he took that UAB job in 2007, whatever it was.
What do you think his record would have been? Right.
And then he took our job in 2010. If he was 12 and, 36 games. So let's just say he's 20 and 26. 20 and 26 in those 3 years. But he had a good year that third year. Would we really be listing, those failures? Or would we be saying, well, here's a national championship coordinator who, as a head coach, looks like he's got UAB on the right track? I just wonder about the intention of everyone who is in the 47 and 50 camp.
Oh, I think it's fair to wonder and outright accuse a percentage of those people
Everyone's
as having nefarious.
How about?
That's right. I'll say a percentage of those people that have a nefarious motive. I think that's fair to assume. I will say there are another percentage of those people who would say, no, it's not that, and they're telling the truth. It's not that. It's that it's Florida State University who can have the pick of the litter in their minds, right? And if you go down that road, here's what I'll say about that I find interesting. I think there are coaches, without question, who have better resumes than Willie Taggart.
Yes.
There are coaches that exist that Florida State could have interviewed that you could argue have better resumes than Willie Taggart. That doesn't make them a fit here. A guy who has a better resume at Washington, for example, may not be a good fit in the state of Florida. A guy who was at Boise State and then Washington, for example, is a great coach who has proven himself over time to be a great coach and whose resume is impressive, perhaps more impressive than Willie Taggart's, but is not a good fit at Florida State University with zero connections to the state. Now, I understand you can counter that and say, I'm not sure that's a better resume. That's fine. I'm going to say just assume for the moment it is, because it is impressive, and he is young, and he is a good coach. You got to balance between the record and the successes that this person had at a particular place with also whether or not they're a good fit for the university, whether a good fit for the state of Florida where he's going to be doing the recruiting. I'll take the guy who's kind of built up some programs along the way with an inferior record because he's been a guy that's inherited reclamation projects like Willie did, taking over a 3-9 USF program after you saw Skip Holtz run it into the ground, knowing that he's going to have a tough time getting that thing turned around because the athletes aren't there yet. I'll take that guy who has connections to the state of Florida galore and can reach out to high school coaches where the vast majority of the elite talent is and bring that to Florida State over the guy that's won a ton of games at Southwest Texas State, or a guy that's won a ton of games at Boise, or a guy that's won a ton of games at, I don't know, I mean, name another school, whatever. You can, Utah.
Agreed. Let me clean this up real quick. Everyone was the wrong word there. Words matter in this circumstance. Everyone is absolutely the wrong word there. The 47 and 50 crowd that only looks at his record, and that is all they decide to do when you try to bring context into the conversation. Say, good luck with your 47 and 50 coach.
Right.
Those are the guys, folks
yeah.
that I look at and I say, really? I mean, we're not able to have a nuanced discussion here. I'm sure, a coach like PJ Fleck is going to have a worse record than perhaps his talent would indicate by the time he's done at Minnesota because, he's at Minnesota. But he was one of the hot coaching candidates, right? There are undertakings whenever you become a head coach of a university, and some are greater than others. Willie has decided to take very difficult jobs and try to make them a better job than he found them, and he succeeded everywhere he's been at making the job that he's leaving better than the job when he found it.
Within 2 years.
Correct.
Within 2 years.
Correct.
Within 2 years.
And the other thing I'd say, and I'm speaking from the heart here, I want the coach that's the best fit and best candidate for the job here. We got him. However, if that coach also happens to make everybody feel more a part of Florida State University and more included in the conversation,
ancillary benefit.
Then that is the best 1-2 combo you can deliver. So that's why this hire should be celebrated, not only because we got the guy we should get, but we got the guy that makes everybody feel a little bit more a part of Florida State. And that's great.
Oh, I don't think there's any question about that. And I like to believe, and I will say the vast majority of the people that have emailed in or that I've talked to or the people that have tweeted at us or the people that I've talked to out and about, they've all said that they were enthusiastic, excited about the hire, and not one of them brought up the fact that he was black. They've all been of the mindset, we got the right guy. Gosh, he's going to come here and he's got a chance. That's all you can ever say. He's got a chance to hit a home run because he's going to be able to recruit right away. He is young, energetic, enthusiastic, and it is infectious. It is something that, man, black, white, boy, girl, you name it, anybody I've run into this week, they've all said, oh, man, how awesome was that? I went out to eat last night after my kids' Christmas play, and I ran into several people, and they were all like, tell me you didn't just want to charge out of there. I said, exactly. They all had the same emotion. It didn't matter whether, and many of the people I ran into, they were just members of the community. One person I ran into graduated from American University. Somebody else I know graduated from Texas that I ran into. Somebody else I know graduated from the University of Florida, but has lived in Tallahassee for 25 years and has grown to like Florida State. They were all like, wow, that was inspiring.
Yeah, and I think the most important thing for everybody who's an Nole fan is they could be white, black, they could be from Central America,
right? Yeah,
they could be Asian American. It doesn't matter. The messages that were delivered this past Saturday and on Wednesday are messages of people who want to be Noles. One of which who's been a Nole his whole life. The other one who's loved this program, admired this program from afar, and now gets to be a part of it. And there's nothing that makes a Nole happier than when a Nole talks about how much they love being a Nole.
Well, and I think you share a passion and a love for an institution, and you want what's best for it, and you just get excited that, as you said, if along the way history's made as well, isn't that just all the more special? I mean, isn't that just, who can't get behind that? We know exactly who can't get behind that, but we also know, thankfully, a lot of that is going away, and that's a good thing. Final hour forthcoming.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, only Mahindra, the makers of the toughest utility vehicles on earth, can give you the best year-end deal on earth. So let us show you how to get tax savings on your new Mahindra XTV and get cash back and savings up to $2,500 on select clearance models. Plus, get a free roof and Mahindra's 3-year warranty.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan, introducing Nissan's Express Service. Express Service means oil changes in 45 minutes or less, with no appointment necessary. Here's how it works. When you come to Kraft Nissan for an oil change, you're greeted by a dedicated Express Service advisor. Sign the advisor's iPad and have a seat in our waiting room. A team of 2 lube technicians will immediately take your car directly to service and complete the oil change. And remember, Kraft Nissan services all makes and models. We sell tires for less. Compare us to the box stores and compare us to the tire stores. We'll beat their price. Plus, new tires come with free rotations for the life of the tires. We also have our Value Advantage line of parts that are priced to compete with aftermarket and parts stores, but still have full Nissan factory warranty. So competitively priced that Kraft Nissan will give you a 30-day price match guarantee in writing. And we offer the Kraft Nissan service card, same as cash for 6 months on purchases over $299.
So give us a try. Oil changes in 45 minutes or less and no appointment necessary. Just stop by.
Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. Service card with approved credit.
This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Kevin Winter. Just how bad was the Monday Night Football game between the Steelers and the Bengals this past week? Obviously, what is going on with Ryan Shazier, that takes center stage. He is still in the hospital after having spinal surgery yesterday, stabilization surgery. But for the Cincinnati Bengals, as they go forward, they've already ruled out 6 players for Sunday's game, 5 starters on the defensive side. Linebacker Vontaze Burfict, cornerback Dre Kirkpatrick, they're all out with concussions. Running back Joe Mixon, a starter on offense. He is going to miss the game. He, too, has a concussion. Also, linebacker Nick Vigil and safety Sean Williams, they had injuries prior to Monday night's game. They, too, have been ruled out this week. The Cleveland Browns yesterday fired Sashi Brown as their executive vice president of football operations. And on that very same day, they went out and signed former Chiefs general manager John Dorsey to that same position. News was first reported by the NFL Network, confirmed by Adam Schefter. And Oregon has a new football coach. The Ducks promote offensive coordinator Mario Cristobal.
Take a night off from cooking during the holidays and get a $20 fill-up from KFC. A family meal your family will love. Then you'll say, thanks for the $20 fill-up, Colonel Sanders. And your family will be like, Colonel Sanders isn't here. Those know-it-alls. KFC. It's finger-licking good.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. It's Libations Friday. Brought to you by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Corner Pocket Bar and Grill on Appalachie Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Final hour of the Jeff Cameron Show, at least for this week, and a fine Libations Friday to you and yours. Loosey-goosey edition of the program. Man, exhale, everybody. We made it. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free. Always don't miss anything, but if you miss something, we got you covered. As we'll post all 3 hours both on iTunes and in our own audio vault. You can always email the show if you like. It's jcs@979 ESPNradio.com. You can find me on Twitter at JCameronShow. I'm woefully behind on Twitter mentions. We just got all wrapped up in this stuff. A lot of you guys have said nice things to me. I appreciate that. Thank you. Some of you have said mean things to me. That's all right. You know, whatever. And then plenty of you have also emailed that I'm behind on jcs@979 ESPNradio.com. So that's where you go to do all those things, and I'll try to get caught up. Should note that also you can watch the show being performed on YouTube, where I have a silky smooth Florida State pullover on. Well, it's not. It's actually a zip jacket, velour. It's velour. It looks good. Goes with my velour pants.
Silky smooth.
Silky smooth. Unbelievable. Go check it out on YouTube, ESPN Tallahassee. There you go. It is Friday, and you can tell. You can tell because we're kind of a little giddy. A little punch drunk around here, but soon to be real drunk after the show. The show,
I got paperwork ahead of freaking budget meetings, man.
Yeah. Well, you should have done that this morning, Tom. Could get your drink on with me right after the show.
Mm-hmm.
Right after the game.
I could have done it this morning, lunchtime. I'm sure I had plenty of time.
Times to do it. Could have done it. Would have been good. But I'll go solo. But, at the house, in the living room, while I play my kids in Mario Kart.
There is no doubt. I'm more than happy that we're passing the baton to the recruiting services. It's your time.
Yeah, you guys tell us all
break
about
all
it.
the news now.
Yeah. All right. Well, on that front, by the way, Amari Gaynor shuts down his recruitment. The kid out of Childs, a legacy, and he and his family saying, you know what? We're happy. We're going to Florida State. We're going to Florida State. And Amari's one of the kids that can get others to say, we, too, are going to Florida State. And so it was smart of Willie Taggart to go and visit that young man and get him moving in the right direction. He was set to visit Texas and said, nah, not going to Texas. I'm shutting it down. I'm going to Florida State. This is my guy.
Yeah, smart freaking move. Now, what I have learned, and I asked this question aloud about Willie Taggart and the in-home, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you take a new job, do you have some sort of grace period where you can go meet with recruits? No, these count. So he's using these visits. Now, if you visited a school, it's different than an in-home.
Right.
You can go to the high school.
Right.
But he's using these in-homes judiciously, but that tells you what he thought of how important it was to get Amari Gaynor to sign on the line that is dotted come the early signing period, because he is set to be an early enrollee, as I understand it.
Early enrollee. Going to enroll early and is going to actively recruit for Florida State. That's huge.
Spend the in-homes on the kids that you need to flip, and spend the in-homes on the kids that you need to sign between December 20th and 22nd. Yes.
I would also note, and I think it's interesting, that he's going to help open a door to communicate with Justin Fields. And I think that's obviously the Hail Mary that you make here, because again, Tom and I don't work in those worlds of recruiting websites. We work at times with them, but that's not our primary job. And people go and they do that, and they do a good job with it. And we know all those people. And so I reach out to all those people whenever there's a rising star, whenever there's a guy that everybody says is a can't-miss prospect, especially if it's a quarterback. I call them. I'll call Michael Langston. I'll call Gene Williams. I'll call Bud Elliott. I'll call Chris Nee. I talk to those people. We got to know. Those are the guys that go to those camps. And I don't know that I've heard anybody more universally beloved and well thought of as a potential superstar, national championship caliber making quarterback than Justin Fields since Jameis. And they all say it. And by all accounts now, the door may be open for Justin Fields, who is intrigued by Willie Taggart's hire. And I know that Willie has reached out to Justin. So this is... I don't know that you can wrestle him away. He's a verbal commit to Georgia. I don't know that you can wrestle him away. They got good things going on at Georgia. But they also have a good starting quarterback who's a freshman, a true freshman. I'm just saying.
Well, we all know the wink, nod game. Yeah, Willie's reached out through the proper channels to see if Justin would be willing to listen. And you can still be a commit while you listen. We understand how the game is played these days.
Commit. He hasn't signed
anything. That's correct.
Yeah.
But if you're willing to listen, then you need to listen to Willie.
That's true, and let's hope that happens. Mario Cristobal going to be the head coach at Oregon, so those of us who were hoping that he could come here to be an offensive line coach, that ain't going to happen. By the way, Florida State basketball against Tulane, noon on Sunday as we look ahead. Tulane is 7-2. That game, Amalie Arena. Wish we were down there for that, buddy.
Yeah, down in Tampa Bay.
Well, that would have been cool. I think Lightning play at home on Saturday. We could have done the double-double. Maybe it's not too late, Tom Lang. We could get in the car and do a double-double.
Well, if we did, then we'd have to get in the car pretty much first thing tomorrow morning because there's the Army-Navy game to consider. So you got to be down and somewhere by 3 o'clock.
These two programs, by the way, Florida State and Tulane, have met 35 times previous. Can you believe that? Well, yeah, because they were in the old Metro Conference together from 1977 to 1991. It'll be the first time that they've played since December the 5th, 1995, when the Tulane Green Wave beat us 78-77 at the Superdome. James Collins, who I used to love when he was here, scored 28 points in that game. But as it worked out, they hit a desperation 3 to Tulane, falling out of bounds to win it.
I'm glad that we'll be playing a couple of home games here at the middle to tail end of December before we get started in conference play. But can I say, this has been one of the frustrating years. I really want to watch this team as much as possible in person. and circumstance
It's
and
been hard,
scheduling.
yeah.
Well, you got neutral site games. You play Rutgers. You play
And then
Florida.
on Wednesday, we did all kinds of work here.
Right, exactly. And then, of course, we'll be in Tampa this weekend. Then we play Oklahoma State in the game in Sunrise that nobody shows up to ever.
Well, our boy Matt Britton goes.
Well, yes.
Every year. It's
and
a
he
tailgate
is
for
somebody.
Him. He is,
Yes.
and he is pumped. Every year. They sit out
And
there
you can see him
tailgate.
on television
Yeah,
because
every
it's
year,
like
because
the
it's
guy
like-
who's wearing the Knoll gear.
Yeah, he's there with his wife who's also a Knoll.
Yeah,
and they're
yeah.
like, whoa!
See a guy and a gal, a couple of little ones.
Yeah, that's right. They'll
That's
be there,
them.
all geared up.
They'll be the
Die
ones.
hard. They will have been tailgating, having a good time.
Then you'll see like parents of players.
Yeah, yeah.
And then there's like
that's
those
about
fans.
It. That's about it.
Yeah.
That's true. By the way, they're coached by Mike Dunleavy Sr. He was there last year. This is year 2 for Tulane with him. Remember him in the NBA? You remember him. By the way, he was a disaster last year, 6-25. 6-25. The old 3-15.
A check's a check.
So that's a troubling time. This team, though, decidedly better in year 2 under Dunleavy. 7-2 is what they are. So could be a good game at noon on Sunday. Something to behold.
Well, hopefully it's not something to behold.
Something to behold.
Hopefully
on a Sunday, something to behold.
Hopefully it's boring because we're beating the you-know-what out of them.
I'd like to believe that, too. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, only Mahindra, the world's #1 selling tractor, can give you the #1 year-end deal. Let us show you how to get tax savings on the toughest tractors on earth and get up to $7,400 in discounts along with Mahindra's 7-year warranty. Plus, get an Emax 22 with mid-mower for just $134 a month.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
At 850-224-2232. 2 men and a truck. The movers who care.
Don't just listen to The Jeff Cameron Show. Watch it live. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Live weekdays 3 to 6 p.m. Head to ESPNTallahassee.com today to watch live or catch up on demand. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Brought to you by Nice Tire and Auto, your trusted Goodyear dealer. 574-4100. And presented by TNT Supercenter in Thomasville, Georgia. And Franklin Spring Creek Ford.
It's time for some straight talk. You have their unlimited plan. So why do you keep running out of high-speed data? Never run out again with Straight Talk's new Ultimate Unlimited plan. Get all the 4G LTE data you want, all high speed, and all for just $55 a month on America's largest, most dependable 4G LTE networks, only from Straight Talk Wireless, only at Walmart.
Video typically streams at DVD quality. Please refer always to the latest terms and conditions of service at straighttalk.com.
Parker Brothers Roofing says don't play games with your roof. Protect your home and your family. The Parker Brothers tell you the truth. We'll fix your roof, 'cause it's what we do. With quality, integrity, and pride. Parker Brothers. Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
Hey, I'm Travis with Parker Brothers Roofing. Some roofers are like a bad boyfriend. They make lots of promises, but in reality, they're just cheap. They don't own up to their mistakes, and they leave you with a lot of regret. Parker Brothers Roofing stands behind every installation, and if a mistake is made, we own it and fix it. Our customers never have to worry about being left behind for the next job. At Parker Brothers, it's quality that builds our quantity. Call us at 656-8112.
Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
License number CCC 049350.
You're listening to The Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
It's Friday, loosey-goosey edition of the program continues. Mama picked New Orleans. I took Atlanta last night. I actually have loved New Orleans all year, but felt like Atlanta would be the more desperate team. Matt Ryan tried to lose the game for Atlanta, but then Breeze did. So it worked out, and Atlanta gets the win, and that means, if you will, Tom, cue it up, and we'll gloat.
And now for another edition of the Family Pick. Nick.
Go to your room! Ma, the meatloaf!
Take it away, Jeffrey.
Mama, you're down 8. That loss last night means it's an 8-game lead as we enter into the weekend.
It's ridiculous. I'm telling you. I told you. I argued with myself over this pick, and I agree with you. Atlanta was more needing of the win, and I don't know. I just argued with myself and ended up talking myself out of it, and I thought Atlanta was more, I don't trust Atlanta yet. And I thought New Orleans had really been playing well, and so I just went with the wrong team.
I don't trust Atlanta that much either, but I just figured desperation. And in truth, that game could have gone either way. And at the end of the day, some key interceptions changed the game. And at the way the game closed, I was kind of stunned to see Drew Brees make that throw. So Atlanta gets the win, and it's 8 now. And so we go to this game, which we both will pick Dallas in against the Giants, right?
Yes, I will.
All right, Chicago's at Cincinnati.
Yeah, I'm taking Cincinnati.
I am too. I don't love it. I think they're probably reeling after that game against Pittsburgh, but I will take them. Detroit against our Buckaroos.
I know. I'm taking the Bucks. I just am. They're getting two of their key people back on the line, and I just am going to go with them.
I'm inclined to do the same. I will take Tampa Bay here at home. I don't think Detroit's great.
I don't either, and
obviously, I don't think the Bucks are great, but I'll take the Bucks.
I think they want to play well against their home crowd, and they need to win a couple of games to kind of save face a little bit. And Jameis has have a week now to be able to practice and get some of the rust off and everything. So I think they have as good a chance as Detroit.
All right, Green Bay's at Cleveland.
Yep, Green Bay.
Minnesota's at Carolina.
Minnesota.
Me too. San Francisco's at Houston.
Houston.
Indianapolis at Buffalo.
Yeah, I don't know about that game, but I took Buffalo.
I did too, but I don't.
I don't know. That's not a good game.
I think Tyrod Taylor's out, right?
Yeah, I think. Yeah. I just that's a coin flip, I guess.
That's a hideous game. Oakland's at Kansas City. Talk about tough.
I know this is really a tough game, but gosh darn it, Kansas City has got to right the ship here. I'm picking Kansas City.
I only did because Oakland's all banged up.
Yeah,
they
are.
all kinds of injuries, and otherwise I would have taken Oakland because I think Kansas City's in a free fall. I mean, they're in a death spiral.
But what in the world has happened to them? I mean, I can't figure it out. They came out at 5-0.
Well, it is hard to figure how you can, be 6-6 after that start, and the Alex Smith that was throwing the ball down the field consistently kind of dried up. Although last week against the Jets, it's crazy. I mean, I picked the Jets, but when you look at that game, I wouldn't have thought the Jets would score all those points. So they're taking turns screwing up in Kansas City. I took Kansas City as well. I don't love it. Tennessee at Arizona is a tough game.
It is. I took Tennessee.
I am really, really tempted to take Arizona. I'm going to take Tennessee as well. I think it's a.
I know it's another coin flip.
Well, Tennessee wins every week, and they don't deserve to. Every time I watch Tennessee, they play terrible, and they find a way to win against bad teams.
I wish we'd do that.
I do too. The Jets are at Denver.
I'm taking the Jets.
I did too. Washington's at the Chargers.
I'm taking the Chargers.
There you go. You've learned your lesson.
I have. I'm a
Are we
believer.
gonna go? You're screwed if we go the rest of the way here, Mom, and all the games are the same, and you already lost last night.
I know. Isn't that the truth?
Well, we'll see if you did. Philadelphia is at the Rams.
Now that is a game, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a hard one. I just don't. Golly, they're at the Rams, though. That's the thing.
Mom, you've learned by now that in truth, home field advantage doesn't
I
mean
know
much
doesn't
in the
mean
NFL.
anything.
You get it?
I
It's
know,
not like
but
college.
it's East Coast, West Coast, though. I'm taking Philadelphia.
Well, I took the Rams, so there we go. We have another one different.
Okay.
Yay. Seattle's at Jacksonville.
Seattle's at Jacksonville. Yeah. Oh gosh, that is another hard game. I took Seattle.
I took Jacksonville. We have our second game different. All right, now we're rolling.
I know.
And Baltimore's at Pittsburgh.
I took Pittsburgh.
And New England's at Miami.
I took New England.
All right, so we actually, in truth, have three different this week, two starting the weekend. You lost last night, so you've got to rally back here. I've got the Rams. You've got Philadelphia. I've got the Jags. You got the Seahawks. Really looks like you're going to be down 10 at the end of this weekend. I don't know that there's any way you can win either the Rams, Philly, Jags, Seahawks game.
Oh, my gosh. Well, listen, Seattle, though, the thing about Seattle is they're kind of desperate, too. They need to keep winning.
Well, they're 8-4, yeah. The same record as Jacksonville, and it'll be a good game.
It will be a good game. I know they're, in Jacksonville. And listen, I don't love Seattle, but I just kind of – they played really good last week, Seattle did.
Well, Russell Wilson's remarkable. He plays great every week. I wish I wish I got to watch them more. I wish I took the time maybe to watch them more, because every time I do, I come away really impressed with who he is and how he plays, because they don't have an offensive line and they don't have a great running game at all. So basically, he has to do everything.
And they have two main people out.
Right, they're hurt on defense.
Yeah.
They got all kinds of problems, and he just finds a way. It's very, very impressive. Love you, Mama.
All right, I love you too. Have a great weekend. Don't forget about the Christmas list.
I won't.
All right, love you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah, I mean, it's true. And I also feel, I guess, buoyed by the fact that both Tom and me, going back before the draft ever took place, loved Russell Wilson. I've been really wrong on some guys over the years. I always preface before I brag that we've all missed on guys. There have been guys we thought, that guy's going to be really good, and just a bust for whatever reason. But, man, did we nail Russell Wilson. And it was cool to nail Russell Wilson because he doesn't fit the prototype that we like. I mean, not just the NFL, but we don't like midgets at quarterback. We don't like little guys. We don't tend to say that this guy can make it if he's under 6 feet or at 6 feet. It's very rare. But there were so many other things that we thought at the time sort of negated that, and it turned out to be absolutely right. And listen, it's stunning to me when you watch the NFL and the draft process and how of a inexact science it is, because the whole league whiffed basically on Russell Wilson through multiple rounds. That's nuts. The two schleps in Tallahassee were like, "Are you guys crazy? We wanted the Bucs to take." Remember that?
No, we did. And I can tell you the reason is because
he made all the throws. First of all,
yes, the guys kept him in the pocket with the rushing lane. Basically, they're playing contain. And so Russell had to stand back there and make throws against us, and he made right decisions time after time after time. He had velocity, he had touch, and then if you gave him half a millimeter of a rushing lane, he saw it and he took it 15 yards down the field later. You're saying, who the F is this guy?
Well, the two things that are important with that to me is that he knew how to run, when to run, why you're running. And then also, if he was buying time in the pocket, it wasn't in order to run. It was to look downfield and throw the football. So all the things that you need from a guy that can run, lots of guys can run, and sometimes that ability to run gets you in trouble in the league. Like, being a remarkable runner can be a hindrance to your development as a quarterback in that league.
Yeah, and that's the thing I fell in love with Jameis about more than anything in the Pittsburgh performance, was there were a couple of times when he broke the pocket, he could take 8 to 10 yards in front of him, but he's still looking down the field for plays to develop, and then he got rid of the football. I just love that his eyes were glued always down the field, never at the grass in front of him. And frankly, that's what I saw in the preseason from Deshaun Watson, that I thought, okay, in the first preseason game, in his limited reps, he broke the pocket 3 different times to his right. Had 6 yards if he wanted to take it. And you know how the NFL is. Get the 4 yards you can take.
Yeah.
Let's take these little chunks and then we're... No, he's still looking down the field. And he'll run if he has to, but it's not his first option. That's I love that trait in quarterbacks, and that most certainly translates to the next level.
Yeah, and if you can avoid when you do run taking shots, because those add up very quickly on little guys. There are very few big-ass quarterbacks. Now, they exist, and obviously Roethlisberger's one, and he's been able to take a beating and last for a long time. But he's 255 pounds. He's basically a big-ass middle linebacker. And big dudes bounce off of him because he's strong. But short of being like that, and certainly Deshaun's not, and Mariota's not, and Russell Wilson certainly isn't, you can't take hits. You elbow injuries, knee injuries, all that, you can't take them.
Russell never does.
No, and RG3 took a ton in the 1 year that he played well. Now, he played well, and he was able to stay upright and make it through the season. But in a lot of ways, that year ruined him because he thought he could get away with it. And then he got blown up along the right side, going for the corner of the end zone, and basically he's out of the league because of it. He was never the same.
Yeah, that was Atlanta.
Yeah.
He was playing in that game. And he played hurt in the postseason, and people thought, for what?
When his knee was
Yeah,
wobbling.
flopping
it
all
was
over
crazy.
the place, yeah.
You know what's weird, and I think it's an interesting talking point and fun when we're just having these conversations about guys that translate, guys that don't, characteristics that can succeed but get you in trouble, and things that maybe you want to curtail even though in the moment it would be what people want of you. What I find fascinating is Jameis Winston's development in this way. As a passer, we've always loved him. And by and large, in his 2.5 years in the league, he has really proven to be a very good passer. He misses on the deep ball too frequently early in his career. I would have liked to have seen if that would have further developed before he got hurt, because we did see a couple of them this year that were really nice, including the one that was called back to Deshaun in a great game that he had against Buffalo. And he also had, in that game, a lot of elements of what I think will make him great. Buying time, making key throws on the move outside the pocket, but not taking hits, getting rid of the ball. But, you know, one thing that's interesting about Jameis and his worst trait, and it's what it really gets him in trouble across the board, it's how he has these asinine turnovers that lead to points, like you call them live ball turnovers. It's how he it's how he frustrates fans and pundits alike. You can't teach a guy to be that competitive. You love somebody who's that competitive. You want somebody who cares very deeply. If you pay a guy $25 million, he better care as much as you care as a franchise and as a fan base to win. The two things he's got to do is understand when a play has failed and be done with it. I'm sorry. You're not a wide receiver or running back trying to break tackles. That's not who you are. You're a quarterback. I need you. My running back fumbles in the open field, breaking 4 and 5 tackles, I'll forgive it. I'll say, you know what? That's a dude fighting for yards, trying to truck people. Marshawn Lynch made a career out of it. And occasionally you get stood up in that situation and they slap the ball out. Sometimes it frustrates you, but I'll live with it. But not from my quarterback. I need you to know the play is over. It didn't work. Nothing you can do here. Even if you pull it out your ass like you did against the Bears a year ago and threw it up 50 yards and it worked, that was still a dumb play. It worked and you got lucky and it's a highlight reel, but don't do that. Know when a play's over and take a sack. Just take it. It's 2nd and 17. Just live with it. It sucks. Your line screwed you. That happens. Or that's good coverage too. And then the other thing that he's got to do, I think, is, and this sounds odd given what we just talked about, when there are 8 yards for you to scramble and take because people are covered downfield and they're in man, take them. Run and slide. 2nd and 2, let's go. He won't do that. He won't do that. And then when he does run, he tries to break tackles. Don't do that.
Right.
Stop doing that. If they're going to play man and turn their back on you, and you're outside the pocket, and he usually makes good decisions outside the pocket. He's really good outside the pocket. When it's not there, go take those yards. Yards are precious in the league. They're hard to come by, especially on first down, man. Give me my 2nd and 4 and let's roll. That's okay. But he doesn't make those decisions very well. When a play is over and when to run and take the free yardage and get down.
Yeah, I agree. I think the biggest hurdles for him, one has to do with his relationship with his head coach.
Well, I agree with that.
And the way the offense is run, I don't think it's run for his mind. I don't think so.
Well, they don't run fast enough, and they don't let him make checks at the line
Correct.
the way we would like him to.
Correct. And so now he's working with, in his mind, a flawed play against a look that he'd prefer to run something else against.
We completely agree on this, yes.
So what happens in that moment? Now you're trying to overcome. You're in an overcome mentality. Like, listen, it could be the right call, but not in his mind, and that's the mind that matters the most, is the guy who's actually calling the freaking play.
Well, and I'm not telling you Jameis Winston is Peyton Manning, but Jameis Winston's stats through his first 2 years are better than Peyton Manning's, and we both know he's football smart. So here's the deal. At some point, they turned the reins over to him, is what they did. They said, you know what? If you feel better, I'm going to give you 3 options, and you go. It's still my play sheet. I'm giving you 3 options. You decide. And they trusted it implicitly.
And number 2, not speaking as somebody who is a quarterback expert by any stretch when it comes to the mechanics of the motion, but he's too mechanical. You can tell he's thinking and guiding at times. I mean, often, and it has nothing to do with the shoulder injury. This is something from last year, too. And I think that's where the deep ball issues come from. When he's in the pocket, trying to deliver one down the field, it looks like he's a pitcher trying to guide one to the corner of the strike zone instead of just throwing the football. That's why he's so great on the perimeter. His old throwing motion comes back, man.
Just wings it, yeah.
Because he sees it and he hits it, and you know it. First thing you do, anybody out there who's a parent, teaching your son, your daughter how to throw a baseball or a football. See the target, throw the ball. Don't think about everything that you have to do in order to put your arm in the right slot. See the target, throw it to the target. And to me, sometimes when he's in the pocket, you can tell that he's thinking about how to get it there instead of just getting the ball there.
And the problem is there are plenty of moments throughout a game where he's clearly not thinking and does do that. I go back to the laser. It's a nice catch, but it's a perfect throw to the touchdown pass to Brate. I mean, that's a perfect throw from the pocket down the seam. That's a hard throw to make. Brate's covered. That is a great throw.
No, that's one of his best throws is to the seam because he understands also the hand talent on those throws.
Yeah.
He can rainbow it and he can sling it. And he knows which situation.
Which one he needs at the time. You know, Jimbo Fisher said that about him at all times, and I remember it now because you brought it up about when to throw the fastball and when to fit it in the basket.
Great examples. Okay, the Brate throw this last one.
Throw, yeah.
There was a couple he made again, I think it was against Dallas. There's certainly the one he makes against Minnesota to Brate, where they're all just kind of lasers.
Well, he has to get him in there.
Think about his touchdown throw last year on the road at New Orleans. In his rookie season on the road at New Orleans.
It's the one that
I think it's Vincent Jackson.
It served notice to the league. Like,
correct.
Oh, okay.
Right. It is an over the top
throw. Yeah.
Rainbow, but it drops in the bucket. And then there was one where it's a ridiculous example. It's his Ephus pitch, but on the road at Syracuse.
Oh, that was hilarious.
Remember, I don't know if it was Rudolph or whoever it was, but that thing had a hang time of
It was almost like he was laughing.
Yeah, an 8-year-old at the YMCA trying to shoot an NBA 3. It's just like
yeah.
But he completely understands that throw. If he could ever just clear, it's a mental hurdle. That deep ball. Well, my God.
I wonder if starting over with somebody else, with a different coach, because here's what I'll say. I believe that Dirk neuters him, and I think that once you do that, you're inviting problems. You've created a mindset that you don't want to create from a guy who, as Jimbo Fisher says, you'd much rather say to whoa than giddy up. I feel like we say whoa to him before he ever makes a play, before he's ever stepped foot on the field with Dirk Cutter. It was all about the whoa. It was never about the giddy up. It was never about the, hey, go out there, young man, play your game, and if I need you to dial it back, I'll tell you. He began by telling him, don't turn it over, don't turn it over, don't turn it over, don't turn it over, don't turn it over. Man, Jimmy Johnson used to talk about this, and Jimmy Johnson's expertise as a coach is obviously understood, but he was also a guy that loved psychology. And he said that I've never told a running back in my life, don't fumble. I've said, hold on to the ball. I've said, understand the situation. Subtle ways of saying the same thing without entering into the mind. It's what we talk about all the time when we talk about golf announcers and the ones that do it best. What's his name from Nick Faldo, who's always talking about the last thing you say to yourself is what you're going to do. The mental picture. You see the water, but you don't say don't hit in the water. You say land it here. There's a difference. I feel like Dirk is the guy that's always going, don't throw an interception.
Yeah. And maybe that's why he should have gotten Mariota as his quarterback, because they would have been a match made in heaven.
Oh, they could check down all damn day, and then they would have lost.
As the story goes, that's who Dirk wanted.
Well, that is because they do. They think the same, and that at least in the system currently. And yet the people there this year are very frustrated that he hasn't taken a step forward at all. Mariota's been terrible this year.
Yes, he has.
So, but they're winning games. Doesn't it seem that every week when you watch Tennessee play, you go, why did they get another team that's terrible this week? Like every week I look up, they're playing somebody who's awful. It's like, oh, they're well, I know they get Indianapolis a couple times, but it seems like every time I'm like, well, they're playing another terrible team this year.
Yeah, I don't know who their draw is for the divisions they're playing this year, but it could be that they're,
Every time I'm like, it's somebody ass sorry.
Well, no, they're playing the North this year, aren't they? The AFC North? Because I can remember them playing Cleveland, and I'm sure that means, Cincinnati, Baltimore.
They're just bad teams all the damn time. Makes me angry.
Well, but they can run the ball, and they play good defense. It's just it's a wonder what that can do for you.
It goes a long way, obviously, if you can run the ball. I mean, listen, all we got to do is last year to this year, look at the Dallas Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people could not stop falling all over themselves about Dak Prescott, who took advantage of a great situation for that. He deserves credit. I don't ever want to take away
Which
credit
is what
from somebody.
we said at the time,
Right.
even when we were being a little heavy-handed against the national narrative about Dak Prescott. We said he's doing what he is supposed to do.
Which, by the way, as a rookie is.
And making 3 or 4 throws a game where you go, well, good Lord,
Right,
Dak.
Right. But how quickly does he look completely average to subpar without Zeke? They don't. He's had some terrible games where you don't think, oh, well, boy, they really missed the run game. You're like, man, that guy cost them the game. That's it. That's what happens.
I agree. And case in point to anybody who watches Buccaneers football, either as a fan or as a Knoll, man, when they run the hurry up, guess who has more freedom in those circumstances? It's not about the 2-minute is always more successful when you want ball control. It's about who has more freedom to govern protections and calls at the line of scrimmage in our 2-minute.
I guess
it's
that's
the
what we're
quarterback.
looking. I guess that, with all that's left, this is all that's left, is you would say that this is what you got to find at the end of the year for the Bucs. I mean, there's nothing really left to play for. Let's experiment with some things here and find out a comfort level and move on. And if that means Dirk throwing caution to the wind, please. I mean, what the hell do you care? You got to save your job. So let the kid do what he does. And he may throw a couple asinine picks because that's also what he does. But come on. He's going to throw for 310, get you 3 touchdowns, and put you in a position to win a game.
Yeah, if you play fast and loose with him, that's his speed, man.
Drives me nuts. Come back, wrap it up momentarily.
Has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, only Mahindra, the makers of the toughest utility vehicles on Earth, can give you the best year-end deal on Earth. So let us show you how to get tax savings on your new Mahindra XTV and get cash back and savings up to $2,500 on select clearance models. Plus, get a free roof and Mahindra's 3-year warranty.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Select clearance models.
North Florida and South Georgia's authorized Mahindra dealer is TNT Super Center, US 19 South in Thomasville, and at TNTSuperCenter.com.
Offer with approved credit. See dealer for details. Program restrictions may apply.
The City of Tallahassee Utilities says 'tis the season to save energy and money. And that's why your own utilities says it's time to focus on those Energy Star appliances like clothes washers, dishwashers, refrigerators, and freezers, even pool pumps and water heaters. Rebates range from $40 to $300. AC and heat pump rebates go as high as $750. And when you buy Energy Star appliances, you save twice. You'll save when you get the rebate from the City of Tallahassee Utilities, and you'll save again on your utility bill, because it's a fact that Energy Star appliances use less energy than their non-Energy Star counterparts. So look for the Energy Star when you shop local for appliances this holiday season. Get all the Energy Star rebate details at talgov.com. Your own utilities. Click on products and services, and all will be revealed. 'Tis the season to save. Save energy and save money with the City of Tallahassee Utilities Energy Star rebates. You'll save with the rebate, and you save on your utility bill. Happy holidays from the City of Tallahassee Utilities. Your own utilities, and America's #1 public utility.
Get your weekend started right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Saturdays at 6 a.m. with Fishing Florida Radio. Listen to the three amigos, Boudreaux, Steve Chapman, and Captain Mike Ortega, as they catch you up to speed on what's new and biting in the North Florida region. Big-time guests, celebrities, interviews, and 3 hours of the fishing info you need. Fishing Florida Radio is brought to you by Sea Quarters Marina off Highway 98 in Carabel. Sea Quarters Marina, your full-service marina, and presented by Hobbit American Grill, locally owned and operated since 1978.
This Day in Sports, brought to you by Superlube. Superlube, 19 Tallahassee area locations. Quick, convenient, no appointment necessary.
This Day in Sports History.
December 8th, 1987. Ron Hextale, the goalie for the Philadelphia Flyers, became the first NHL goalie to score a goal in a game against the Boston Brewers. Down 3-2 in the last period, the Bruins pulled their goalie. Hextale would pick up a loose puck near his goal and slap it into the net. He would repeat the feat 2 years later in a playoff game against the Capitals.
It's that time of year again where you have to shop for the naughty and the nice. Make it easy. Superlube it and get rewarded with a free oil change. Right now, visit any of the 19 area Superlube locations, buy 3 oil changes, and get one free. Keep it or give that free oil change to a car lover on your list. Hurry in and make shopping easy with a free oil change from Superlube. You'll be glad you did.
They change my oil in just 10 minutes. Boy, this place is sure convenient. How I love to super lube my car, lube my car. How I love to super lube my car. Yes, sir.
ESPN Radio Sports Center. I'm Kevin Winter. Just how bad was the Monday Night Football game between the Steelers and the Bengals this past week? Obviously, what is going on with Ryan Shazier, that takes center stage. He is still in the hospital after having spinal surgery yesterday, stabilization surgery. But for the Cincinnati Bengals, as they go forward, they've already ruled out 6 players for Sunday's game, 5 starters on the defensive side. Linebacker Vontaze Burfict, cornerback Dre Kirkpatrick, they're all out with concussions. Running back Joe Mixon, a starter on offense, he is going to miss the game. He too has a concussion. Also, linebacker Nick Vigil and safety Sean Williams, they had injuries prior to Monday night's game. They too have been ruled out this week. The Cleveland Browns yesterday fired Sashi Brown as their executive vice president of football operations. And on that very same day, they went out and signed former Chiefs general manager John Dorsey to that same position. News was first reported by the NFL Network, confirmed by Adam Schefter. And Oregon has a new football coach. The Ducks promote offensive coordinator Mario Cristobal.
Take a night off from cooking during the holidays and get a $20 fill-up from KFC. A family meal your family will love. Then you'll say, thanks for the $20 fill-up, Colonel Sanders. And your family will be like, Colonel Sanders isn't here. Those know-it-alls. KFC. It's finger-licking good.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. It's Libations Friday. Brought to you by Quarter Pocket Bar and Grill. Quarter Pocket Bar and Grill on Appalachia Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Good on you, Devonta Freeman. I don't know if you saw his response to Sean Payton's choke gesture, but he chuckled and said, "Man, I saw it. That man don't know nothing about choking. He ain't from where I'm from." He's a good competitor, though. The competes probably came out of him there. The competes. But we don't let that bother us. He doesn't know nothing about choking. And then anyhow, from there, he kind of chuckled some more and just said, guys are competitors. There you go. We don't all have to be offended. It's okay. He gets it.
Then he put out Aints on Twitter later. Aints LOL.
Oh,
there it is. Yeah, he took his dig because what was it? It was a crazy stat. I heard Tirico say it as they were going to break after he scored his rushing touchdown. Is that 6 in a row? 6 games in a row where he scored a rushing touchdown against the Saints?
Is that what it is?
It's something big like that, yeah.
Yeah, he's been good. And I was glad to see him have a good game because he's been non-existent. Between concussion protocol and just...
I get it's indoor with the NFL regimen, but still, there are 2 runs last night where I go, he was never even close to that fast here. Now, they had a 3rd and 1 situation. He made somebody miss, cut back, and boom, he falls forward for a first down. He did that all damn day.
All damn day.
He was legendary about the hidden yards, and he was the king of getting small when he needed to get small. But the breakaway speed kind of stuff and the burst,
you
the
didn't
elite
see it as
burst,
much, yeah.
No.
Well, it's weird, too, with him. I think I would like to go back and look at his time here and look at every game he played. Like, just find a mashup of Devonta Freeman runs. Because I do think there was a time early in his career, there was a run I remember he got the corner on, and I thought, oh, I didn't realize he was that fast. He's had kind of his moments where you go, oh, he's quicker than you realize, or he's faster than you realize. Maybe he was always quick, but faster than you realize. But not consistently so like he's been in Atlanta. And you're right, I don't know if that's the turf or what that is, but he does appear faster in Atlanta than he ever did here. There are some runs here where you saw it, but not consistently.
There was no doubt that he was going to be an NFL player
and
for a long time.
Right.
And I can recall being up in Atlanta for the weekend of the NFL draft when he got drafted, whatever that was, 2014, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And the Falcons drafted my brother-in-law as a Falcons fan. I said, you got yourself a good one. At minimum, he's a 3rd down back, and he might be able to spell for you a week in here or a week out there. I didn't think he'd be getting a 2nd contract that's quite lucrative and maybe a little reckless by our standards for running backs and what we think they are. But you knew that he was going to be responsible, great in pass protection, had good hands, was going to be a complementary piece in a league where you need a couple of backs at minimum. Sometimes you need 3. I couldn't fathom what we've seen out of him so far in his career. I mean, he cuts himself and then bursts into the open lane like as good as anybody in the league right now. That's what's just incredible about his career, and I'm so happy for the kid.
I'm really happy for the kid, and he got paid, and that can never change, and that's good. And in a league that just uses players and they're out of the league by the time they're 26, 27 years old and broken, you need to get paid. And also, I'm not saying that cynically. I mean, the people know what they're getting into. I mean, football is a brutal sport, and if you're a running back, it's especially a brutal sport.
Well, and he should be a Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what he was going to be.
Yeah, it is odd though. You do look. I mean, this has been a rough stretch. I'll tell you this: prior to the last 2 weeks, 12-3 against Minnesota, 12-7 last night. Here's what he was: 12 for 41. That's just over 3 yards a carry. 11 for 46 against Carolina. Not even 50 yards in the game that they lost. 2 carries against Dallas.
That was a concussion game, wasn't
but
it?
12, 11, and 2, and then fast forward, he misses time. So then he misses games, and then he comes back and he gets 12 carries last week. Now he's effective in those 12 carries, but it's still just 12 carries for a guy that signed a huge contract. I mean, 74 yards on the day. Last night was a good night in that he was the primary back, 24 carries. Didn't have 100 yards, just 91, so that's less than 4 yards a carry. But he was effective when they needed him to be, he did score. So, 24 for 91 and a touchdown. He had a 19-yard run in there and had those moments where you could see him look like he used to. Yeah, it's been interesting. This has been a tough season.
It has been a tough season for him. There's no doubt about that. But he got that 2nd contract. And again,
He's
last
paid,
night,
baby.
Well, there are a couple of situations. Like there's a 3rd and short where he converts. You're only trying to run for 1 or 2. He got it. And then the 3rd and goal in the first half where he gets in and scores after they get stuffed a couple of times. I mean, let's just say it, man. Atlanta's offense has been a disaster this year.
For what they have, the weapons they have. We get so mad in Tampa Bay. But Tampa Bay's offensive line and their offensive backfield at running back is nothing compared to to Atlanta's. There's no, if you're an Atlanta fan and you're listening to this, you know, there's no excuse for this offense looking like it does. You have a Pro Bowl quarterback. You have the best wide receiver in football if you throw to him. You have two very good, very talented, very quick, very useful running backs. You have a good offensive line. Yeah, you've got two. Sanu's a nice number two.
Sanu's a nice player.
You got players, man, just all over the place, players on offense. You know, I really do think the Bucs offense would have been very good this year. But between Jameis's injury, which is a big to-do, and the fact that they don't have a really good running back, and that offensive line has been spotty running the ball. Now, they've pass blocked okay, but they can't run block worth a damn. Well, you're not going to win games when you're one-dimensional. I mean, even by adding Deshaun Jackson and having Evans and, adding a tight end that can stretch the seam and having a reliable possession tight end, that's great. You've taken a step forward. But if you can't run and the league knows it, you're just not going to be consistent. You might have good days, but you're not going to be consistent. Atlanta, there's no reason they don't put up 35 points a game. I mean, they are loaded across the board.
Yeah, you're into December now. The Super Bowl hangover thing is no longer a thing here. And they're winning games somehow, and they might get back to the playoffs, and who knows if they put it together at that point. But again, we said it on the Scuttlebucks this week. I was talking about how it's amazing that you have a second-year quarterback in Jared Goff, who
putting up numbers that are insane.
Well, he's a number one pick, out of the draft, and you label him a bust. I'm not saying you.
I did label him a bust.
Yeah, but I'm not. Yeah. But the world labels him as a bust, and you had every right to believe he's a bust.
Right.
And then you bring in a new coach, and he's a revelation of a player because the coach understands what he commands, what he doesn't, and so that offense is now a juggernaut overnight.
Coaching matters, buddy.
And then you have a loaded offense, loaded for bear. I mean, an offense that looked unstoppable until the second half of the Super Bowl last year. With a great coordinator, that coordinator jets to San Francisco. Now that offense sucks. I mean, compared to what it should be. I mean, it's awful. They need to play Tampa every week if they want to go off for the amount of points that they should score.
You do wonder about the Super Bowl hangover stuff. It exists throughout history. It's a very real thing. You see teams get to the Super Bowl and really struggle the next year.
Well, that would fall on Ryan then because he hasn't played well at all.
No, but I think that's, it would fall on Ryan. It would fall on that offense as a whole. And obviously you're right to point to the offensive coordinator, but you do wonder because, I mean, no team's ever lost in more devastating fashion. I mean, and they said all the right things in the offseason. It'll serve to motivate us. My ass, man. You don't lose that game. It's nearly impossible to lose that game given what happened, but you did. And then you're playing week 2 against whomever. I can't that doesn't fill the bucket.
No, I agree, but I'm telling you, man, they had problems with Kyle Shanahan that first year because remember the plays were too long, and Matt Ryan said, "I can't remember these plays. They take too long to call in and all that stuff." And then it ended up working out just fine. But you can tell body language. I've seen 4 or 5 Falcons games, start to finish, and you can tell with their body language they don't believe it. They just don't believe it the way they believed that. They knew they were going to drop 35 on you last year. This year, they're waiting for that thing to go wrong, be it a holding penalty, a drop, a missed throw. It's almost like they're just waiting for the reason to go back to the bench.
Well, it doesn't break my heart. Let's see.
Not mine. It's incredible how much a coach matters, even at that level.
Oh, I think so. Yeah. Clearly, it's. I mean, it's funny in that league. We know they all know football, but there are other things involved. In play calling, what's always fun isn't what is your acumen for the game or your knowledge or depth of understanding of situations or how to read a defense or any of that. You don't get to the NFL without knowing how to do all of those things thoroughly. But it's when you call it, why you call it, what you're setting up. It's a game plan. It's not a call.
Right.
It's a series of calls. And we all know the coordinators that get players into rhythms, that begin to exploit certain weaknesses and set up others. We know those guys. And I guarantee you, if you set them down in a room and we identified them and then universally agreed upon 2 other guys that we think are bad play callers or do a poor job, statistically speaking, and we put them in the same room and gave them a quiz on what they were looking at, they would all get 100. They would all look at the same thing, analyze the same thing, dissect the same thing, and give the right answer. And yet this guy's very, very good at what he does, and this one's not. But they know the same thing. It's fascinating. It's just amazing to me.
It's like they have like a jazz drummer in front of them, the bad ones. They're like, all right, play Little Drummer Boy.
Right.
Like, how about let's play something, worth his time?
It's fascinating. And by the way, jazz drumming is a wonderful topic because to listen to jazz drummers talk about other jazz drummers and ones that they didn't have respect for and the ones that they did, they'll give you reasons that you can't hear. You can't hear it. I don't hear it. Sometimes I do, but they do crystal clear. Like, well, you see, the problem here is, and then they break it down. It's always math, and then they break it down, and you go, well, good Lord, you're doing otherworldly equations in your head in milliseconds.
And then the guy who appreciates jazz but doesn't understand the nuance like that, like me, says, does it matter?
but you know what? The guy who does, and I can't say that I do understand it, he'll tell you why, and it's fascinating.
Well, because it F's everybody else up.
Yeah, but it's fascinating as all hell. It's great. What's on tap? Let's do it up.
Ready for a cold one? Proof Brewing Company in Railroad Square Art Park presents What's on Tap. So, Jeff, what'll it be?
A really, really relaxed, joyful weekend that will feature a Christmas party and no coaching news in terms of a search other than maybe what we learn about who Willie Taggart puts together. A great hockey matchup on Saturday between the Lightning and Winnipeg. Like I said, a friend's Christmas party, some other football. Get a little James Madison Weber State action.
And go Army beat Navy.
Well,
That's what's on tap for me.
I was just about to say that we'll all end up sitting back and waiting for the crescendo, which is indeed Army versus Navy.
Man, I'm so excited. Last year I caught this game out in Austin, and we were at
I forgot about that.
An official
if
Army.
We're in Austin now, it'd be snowing.
Right. Well, it was freezing cold last year, and we watched it at an Army official watch party.
Oh, that's the best.
Oh, they were so into it.
Oh, the game was incredible. But we were texting each other. It was incredible.
Yeah, the only place we could get was outside, though. So
I thought they were going to F it up. Remember that? They had it, and you were like, they're going to screw this up?
Yeah. So we watched it outside, and I feel like, since it's going to be quite cold tomorrow, perhaps I should
watch it outside.
Watch it outside. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bundle up and watch it outside on the deck.
Not a bad call at all. Our thanks to Proof Brewing Company for sponsoring What's on Tap. Proof Brewing Company since 2007, offering Tallahassee's finest craft beer selections at their massive tap room in Railroad Square Art Park, and Can Deliciousness in stores near you. Great work, Tubby. Good work, Matthew. You guys have a wonderful weekend. Be well. Peace.